Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another live stream. We are so back. It feels good to be back, and I'm glad you're here with me. So let me know where you're tuning in from. Let me know what you're doing right now. And thank you for being here on what is a slightly strange time to stream on a Tuesday at 4 p.m. If the lighting seems off at all, I think it's okay. I went to pull down my blinds the other day. Actually pull up, and as I went to pull up my blinds, I pulled them from the ceiling, and my accommodation, I stay in student accommodation because I'm a student despite being 500 years old. My student accommodation still haven't come to fix it, and that was like 2 weeks ago. So I have a big bright natural light in my face, so if I start seeing sun or if I look slightly yellow, it's because of that, right? It's not because of my studio lighting, which is in front of me, but there we go. Let me know what you're doing right now. Let me know what you're tuning in from, and thank you for being here. Got Super Duper in the chat. Shazam. Good to see you, my friend. Will in the chat. Good to see you. Kieran. Loads of members here already. Of course, Mr. Zodiac is in the chat as well. Good to see you, Zodiac. Immortal Technique. Good to see you. Lots of the regulars in here. 40-year-old in student housing. I'm 28, but still pretty old. You caught the sun, mate. I did also catch the sun a little bit. I was outside for my birthday, spending time with my family, and I did actually almost burn. I did almost burn. This is me catching the sun. I still look pretty pale. Show the team. The team will be shown. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. 0.1 off my preferred draft. The thing is, I think if I gave you an extra 0.1, you'd find, again, something else to spend the extra money on. Like, I'm the same. Give me an extra 0.1 and I'd love it, but I'd also like an extra 0.2. And if you gave me an extra million, I could change my goalkeeper. And then if you gave me an extra million, I could... like, I feel like we're always going to want more money. This does go to prove, though, why having good team value and trying to accrue team value at the start of the season is pretty useful. Love the shirt. Thank you very much. Is that an Ajax Cape Town shirt? It's the Ajax kit from... Was it 23-24 or 22-23? But yeah, I bought it when I lived in... I lived in Amsterdam for just under 6 weeks as part of a university placement I did at Vrije University. So when I was in Amsterdam, I was like, do you know what? I've got to buy an Ajax kit. And I also played a little bit of football with some Dutch guys out there. So, yeah, this is when I bought this kit. Anyway, right, I should show the team, shouldn't I? We've already had a super chat. Semenyo Diaz-Rogers or Savinho as Kluivert replacements. I'd be tempted to go Savinho, but I think the safest bet is probably Rogers in terms of future doubles, in terms of good minutes. I already have Saka, Salah, Murphy and Sarr. I think I'd go Savinho, especially if you're on Wildcard, Dan. Were you smoking fatties up? I was doing no such thing. I was doing university studies. Right. This is the team, as things stand, with almost 2 hours until the game week 30 deadline. I'm also a bit small, and I'm also a bit too far over this way. Right, get over here, and then a bit bigger. Not that you necessarily want me to get bigger, look bigger. The camera feels off. Is it too far tilted down? Do you know what? We're going to rock with it. You can see a little bit more of my breasts. You can tell it's been 2 weeks since I've live streamed, guys. I'm very sorry. Right, here we go. So just under 2 hours left now. Did you wildcard? I did wildcard. Is copy of Harry? I think they're very similar drafts, yeah. The thing that you'll find is we all have the same fixtures to target. We all have the same information around projected doubles and blanks. So we are going to arrive at similar drafts. There'll be a lot of talk about differentials and, but everyone's draft looks the same. It's a very small bubble in terms of content creators, in terms of Twitter. You might feel like everyone's got the same draft, but not everyone will be wildcarding. Not everyone will choose the likes of Foden and Saka. Not everyone will have Mateta, Sarr and Munoz. Not everyone will even have 3 Crystal Palace. So it might feel a little bit like everyone's got the same team, but I don't necessarily think that's the case. Check my super chat. Thanks, bro. Rosh, tried to convince me to captain Marmoush. Thanks. I love Marmoush captain. In fact, I might switch my vice to... I think Salah, Mateta, Marmoush are the best 3 captains. Marmoush is probably on penalties, will almost definitely start, and he's playing against one of the worst teams in the league at home. His minutes should be good. I have absolutely no issue with Marmoush cap. Marmoush cap is a very decent shout. Will Savinho start? I think so, but he was in Brazil for the birth of... I was going to say for the birth of his wife. That wouldn't be very... for his wife's birth. So he was in Brazil, and he was also in Brazil on international duty. So he's been in Brazil for a couple of weeks. He was in team training yesterday, Savinho, so maybe he'll be fine, but there are some doubts. Foden won't start. Yeah, it's possible. I hope he does. I'm not going to try and argue with you. Foden's definitely not nailed on, so that is always the concern. Yeah, Foden is a minutes risk, absolutely. You don't need to sit here and tell me that Foden's a risk. That is the risky pick that I've put in my team for a reason. I do kind of want to switch my 3 Man City players for just... The blue should be on the outside, shouldn't it? Okay, 1 sec. Give me a second. Bang, bang. 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 Sorry, guys, we're just getting a little bit OCD here. It should... Ooh, I whistled. It should transition from blue to red. So now I just need to switch. This is where it gets confusing how to do this. So like that, like that, like that. You can see I'm a pro. I'm a pro in this switching business. Okay, that looks better. I agree. Thank you for your advice, whoever said that. I feel like that blue to red transition is a little bit neater. We like to be neat here. And yeah, Marmouche Vice, that's better. Let me take a screenshot of that. I agree. Chat, you're always right. God, it feels good to be back. It's been a little while, hasn't it? Two weeks, basically, in between. I think it has been 2 weeks in between streams. What don't you like about my draft other than Foden? Because I know you don't like Foden already. You don't need to sit here and tell me that you don't like Foden. But outside of Foden, is there anything you don't like? I should note, this has 0 in the bank. So for anyone that says, why Dan Burn over Livramento, I would ideally have Livramento. If you're thinking, why Contra instead of a slightly better defender, I would probably prefer a slightly better defender. But yeah, I am in a position where this has 0 in the bank. So I don't love Konsa, I don't love Dan Burn, and I would rather have Eze over Sarr. I'd rather have Emi Martinez over Areola. There is lots that I would rather do, but my team value is not great. It's good enough, by the way. I know people have lower, but yeah, I really wish it could be higher. Right, let's get back to these super chats. Toby D says, afternoon, sir. Afternoon, Toby. Wildcard active. Emmy to Areola to then go Clivert to Bowen. Locks me into bench boost 33. No way to afford Foden. Any other shots for Clivert? I do like Bowen a lot. And I don't mind Bowen and Areola. Do you know what? I'd be tempted to do that. The other chance you've got is just go to Savinho. I don't know if Savinho will definitely start, so don't hold me accountable. But if you want to take the risk, he's another option. Similar price to Clivert, so it doesn't force you into going from Emmy to Areola. Other than that, I really do like Bowen. Bowen's probably going slightly under the radar. Mr. Shazam, of course. What a legend. Afternoon, Ross. Happy belated birthday. Thank you very much. Good to have you back. It feels good to be back, I'll be honest. I think the break was definitely needed. Not that I felt like burnt out, but it's just nice to have a bit of a reset. I want to say thanks for the videos this week, but oh my god, I am confused. Got the template players in a wildcard team, but so confused who for my backup players. There are a few ways to approach this. Obviously, if you've got your bench boost, you need to think about which players would you want on your bench for 32 or 33. That's the first decision. If you're also thinking beyond that, there are some teams that have a better chance than others for doubling in 36. So Aston Villa, Nottingham Forest, West Ham, City, Bournemouth, Spurs. Basically, teams that could reach the FA Cup final or are playing against teams that could reach the FA Cup final, they could double in 36. It's why having someone like Ezri Konsa isn't a bad idea, because not only do you get a double in 33 we expect, but you also get a possible double in 36. But I really think, mate, if you nail your starting 11 and you get those key picks right? So your triple Palace, you get the right midfielders, your 14th and 15th player doesn't make as much of a difference as we think. Like, I wouldn't stress too much around those final 2 or 3 players. It's luck-based anyway, half of it, isn't it? But thank you for the support, Shazam. Callum says, thoughts on my wildcard? Edison, Gabriel, Saliba, Gvardiol. It's a lot of money, but it's good. Eze, Salah, Saka, Isak, Mateta, Marmouche. Okay, bench, Martinez, Murphy, Burn, Rogers. Okay, so my only concern with that... Eze, Salah, Saka, Murphy, Burn, Rogers. Who's missing there? Is it Ismail Assar? No, you're missing a player there. I think you've only given me 14 there, Callum, haven't you? Edison, Gabriel, Saliba, Gvardiol, Eze, Salah, Saka. I'm assuming the player missing is Ismail Assar. If the player missing isn't Ismail Assar, I think you need a third Palace. If that is the player that's missing, it's brilliant, mate. No major concerns with me. But just make sure that you've got 3 Palace. Bass Dumbledam, thank you for the support. Says, hi, legend. Hello to you. My current wildcard is Raya Flecken. Flecken. What's the reason for Flecken? I don't love the Flecken pick, is my initial instinct. Gabriel, Gvardiol, Conser, Burn, Livramento. Good defence. Eze, Saka, Salah, Murphy, Clivert, Mateta, Isak, Marmouche. Who should I do as a Clivert sub? Savinho or Rashford or other? Rashford's another good shout that I don't mind. Like, it's a bit of a risk with minutes, but so is someone like Savinho. I would say I don't love Flecken. There's also a missing... No, you've got... Yeah, you're also missing a... Are you missing a Palace player as well? You've got Eze, Mateta, Sarr, Ismaila Sarr. I'd make sure you've got a third Palace. 3 Palace feels a given. They're the only team with back-to-back doubles in 32 and 33. So I would add in maybe Ismaila Sarr instead. But otherwise, I think Savinho and Rashford are both good. I'd maybe look at a better goalkeeper for a backup than Flecken. Hams is hiking. Quality content as always. Thank you very much. My team value can't get me the 3 premium mids. What would you do for 2 premium and 3 others on a wildcard? I think I'd go Saka, Salah, Sarr, Murphy. So remove Foden. And in that Foden spot, you could have Bowen. You could have Gordon. You could have Eze if you've got the third Palace spot available. You could go Savinho, Rashford. I think Jared Bowen's not an awful shout for a 5th midfielder that not that many people will have. He's got Southampton in 33, so whilst he doesn't double, he's got a good fixture there. And he's also got a fixture in Game Week 34 as well, where a lot of other people will blank if you need a player in that week. McAllister says, wildcard active. Happy birthday, Ross. Thank you. Before everyone starts wishing me a happy birthday, it was a few days ago now, but I appreciate all of the love. And yeah, good luck with your wildcard, my friend. Hi, Ross. Best Clivert replacement. 1 million banked. So you can't afford Bowen in that case. I think Savinho, Rodgers, Rashford... Ismaila Sarr and Eze are the obvious ones if you don't have 3 Palace. Murphy, if you want to go for a cheap asset that will bank you some change. I also don't hate going for Semenyo. I mean, he doesn't have the penalties, but he's still playing for the same team with the Ipswich game. Ben says, hi, Ross. Cheeky poo break at work. Love that. Is Haaland and Mikalenko to Marmouche and Kirkes/Munoz worth a -4? If so, which defender? I'm on wildcard 31. There's no time to plan wildcard 30. I don't know I'd take a -4 before a wild card, but Marmouche and Kirkes Marmouche and Munoz have great upside. I think I would do it. I don't love taking a -4 before a wild card, though. If you had more time and you weren't on a poo break at work, I'd say just wild card this week rather than take a hit. I think if you're looking at taking a hit, just activate the wild card. But in your case where you're on a poo break at work, I don't mind that -4 you. Shaunak says, belated birthday, Ross. Thank you very much. Good to see you, my friend. I love seeing all the regulars in the chat. Wissa Trent to Isak Milenkovic. Okay, Wissa Trent to Isak Milenkovic, fine. Or Gvardiol Marmouche. Oh, for a -4. Isak Milenkovic or Gvardiol Marmouche. Oh, I love Isak, but I think I'd want Gvardiol Marmouche. Chip strategy. I've got everything except the assistant manager. Yeah, I don't think you necessarily need a wildcard. I mean, you could play the wildcard by all means. If you've got time and you want to, you could play it this week. Otherwise, I would say bench boost 32, 33, free hit 34, and then maybe wildcard 35. The other option you've got is just wildcard 31, but I don't know. Again, I would want to take a -4 before a wildcard, mate. I'd be tempted to just play the wildcard if you've got all of your chips. Otherwise, save it for next week. I don't think you necessarily need to replace Wissa either. I mean, you've got so many options with that team, Shaunak. I think try and commit to a chip strategy that works for you. You certainly don't need one with that team, but it's also not far off what my team was. You've just got a better goalkeeper. You've got Kirkes in there. You've got Eva Nilsson. So it is a better team than mine. Yeah, I'm not sure I would wildcard that. I would say wildcard in 31 or 35. It's tough. Discover with Sim says, cheers for the awesome content. You're more than welcome. Really enjoying Club. I am enjoying Club as well. Please, could we get a captaincy poll today? Yeah, let me do one now for you, mate. Thank you for the support as well. And yeah, let me run a quick captaincy poll now. I'll also run a poll in a second to see who's on their wild card, but I think a lot of people are, especially if they're tuning into deadline streams on a Tuesday afternoon. Yeah, the lighting's so bad where I've got so much natural light that I wouldn't normally have. Anyway, we've got captaincy poll. Captaincy. Who are you captaining, chat, if not Salah? If not Salah, who are you captaining? I assume Marmoush is popular. Is it Isak or Mateta as the next most popular captain? Marmoush. Raptor, is Cliver out? No. Well, not confirmed out. Not confirmed out. Mateta against Southampton. Do you know what? I'll just put all 4 options up then. I'll just put all 4 options up. If you're not captaining one of these 4, I do apologise. Oh, Palmer. No, I won't do that then. I'll put other comment. Yeah, I forgot that Palmer existed, to be honest. He's going to ruin my rank, isn't he? Right. Captaincy poll. Salah, Marmoush, Mateta, other. Right. There you go. There's a captaincy poll in the chat right now. And then I'll get back to answering your questions. No Munoz. Not for captaincy, no. I mean, he's in my team, but I wouldn't captain him. Rio says, would you transfer Wood to Mateta even if wildcard 31? If it's for free, yes. If it's for a hit, I'd find a way to do something else. Or just wildcard now. I don't like taking a hit before a wildcard, especially 31-30. Your wildcard in 31 is going to look very similar probably to your wildcard in 30. So that the hit just doesn't feel as good there. Wildcarding now, who to triple captain and when to bench boost? I think triple captain 32 on Isak and then bench boost in 33. Makes a lot of sense. If you're asking who to triple captain this week, you obviously can't triple captain in the week you wildcard. But if you're asking for the future, I think Isak in 32. Frosty says, dipping out of work calls briefly for a cheeky Wood Palmer Clivert confidence update. Palmer, very confident. Wood, not at all confident. Clivert, in the middle confident. Thank you for being a member for 37 months, by the way, Frosty. Yeah, I would say Palmer's you're most likely to play, then Clivert, then Wood. I would say Palmer starts, Clivert on the bench, Wood not in the squad, would be my prediction. But they are just random predictions. Izzy Gaming says, my quirky egg, Kirkes, Areola, or Howson/Martinez? Oh, that's a tough one. I would say Howson/Martinez. Without seeing the rest of your plans, I think Martinez is a big upgrade on Areola for the weeks that you need him. I don't know that Howson and Kirkes, there's that much between them. Cal says, hi Ross, wildcard nearly there. Thoughts on Rashford as a Clivert replacement? Love it. Worried about minutes in Europe. Yeah, this is the concern, right? If he plays 90 minutes in Europe against PSG, then he probably doesn't play Southampton. My flip to that is I think Watkins has to start really in Europe. And so what he might do is start Watkins, not Rashford, and then play Rashford as the 9 in the league. So you could even get Rashford on penalties as the 9 against Southampton. So I don't mind the punt on Rashford. You just need to do it knowing that it is a big risk. Douglas Max, good to see you, my friend. Says, happy late birthday. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm on Wildcard as well. Good luck this week. Good luck to you as well. And thank you for being a Rap Tier member. I appreciate it. Yeah, very good luck to all those on Wildcard. Hi, Ross. Some thoughts on my Wildcard. Raya, Martinez, Gvardiol, Gabriel, Munoz, Concer-Burn. Fantastic. Salah, Saka, Clivert, Sarr, Murphy, Isak, Mateta, Marmoush. Sensational draft. The only concern is Clivert's minutes. So apparently Iraola said in the press conference today that Clivert is a doubt. Apparently that's based on fatigue rather than an injury. So there is a chance he still plays like 60, 65 mins. But his minutes are definitely down for this week. You might want to keep Clivert anyway, but that would be the only concern with that wildcard. Willow Willoughby has become a Rap Tier 2 member. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Mark says, hi Ross, wildcard active. Very nice, Mark. Raya Pope. Don't mind that. There's some slight risk with Pope, but I think he's very much first choice. Gvardiol, Kirkes, Concer, Gabriel, Trippier. Love the Trippier punt. Savinio, Rogers, Mo, Eze, Sarr. Love that. Marmoush, Mateta, Isak. Stunning, mate. 9.5 out of 10. No major concern. My only question with that team is what is your route to Saka in 33? Because you've not got a mid-price midfielder, right? You're not going to sell Salah. And so your next most expensive midfielder is Eze, who doubles. And even like all of your midfielders, actually, other than Salah, double in 33, we expect. So how are you getting Saka? Maybe you're not getting Saka. I just think that's going to be something you'll want to do. So that's my only criticism of that draft, Mark. How much money do you have spare in that draft? 0. I have 0 in the bank with this draft. By the way, guys, if you're enjoying this stream and you've enjoyed the videos over the last couple of days as well, can I please ask you to subscribe? Lots of new people have, and I appreciate that, but we're trying to hit 150,000 subscribers by the end of the season. We're about 2,500 short. So that's quite a lot. But if any of you right now are watching and you're not subscribed, I would really appreciate you hitting that button. It means a lot to me. Also, hit the like button. If you are subscribed, if you're thinking, I'm subscribed, Raptor, then just slap the like button. Utkarsh says, hey, mate. Sorry for butchering your name, if I did. Quality content as always. Thank you very much. Foden, Palmer, and Eva Nilsson. I like that. Or Savinho, Palmer, and Mateta. So Foden and Eva Nilsson or Savinho and Mateta. I think I prefer Savinho and Mateta. I just think Mateta's great. I'd want Mateta. Yeah, I would go for the Savinho and Mateta route, personally. Connor says, hi, Ross. One second. Connor says, hi, Ross. Hope you had a good break. I really did, thank you. Although I did a lot of work during the break on my PhD, so I didn't really have much of a break. But thoughts on Watkins over Mateta? I love Mateta, so I'm going to say no. But I understand that Sarr, Eze, Munoz, as you say, you don't have to run the risk with the rotation from the midfielders. My concern would be if Watkins plays 90 in Europe and Rashford doesn't start, there is a world in which Rashford could start ahead of Watkins. Like, Watkins isn't immune to rotation. So I think I prefer as a combo Mateta and Rodgers to Watkins and Eze Sarr. And it's also a lot cheaper. Like, a lot cheaper. What is that? That's like 3 million cheaper. So I think I would go for that combo personally. But it's not something that I dislike. It's just not for me. I don't want to put people off of ideas. Gabriel to Timber to afford Areola to Martinez. Not for me. I think Timber's a rotation risk with Ben White back now. Like, Lewis Skelly and Ben White could easily be the fullbacks. I just don't think it's worth the risk. One of the benefits of Gabriel and Saliba is they play every minute, as well as just being good assets. Bass said, got Munoz, not Burn. Okay, that makes a lot more sense now. Goalkeeper's going to check. Thinking Areola and then a Rashi punt. Very nice. Yeah, that makes more sense, my friend. By the way, love the shirt as a lifelong Ajax supporter. There we go. Which way is it? This one. I'm not going to say I'm an Ajax fan, but if I were to support a team, just because, like I say, when I lived out in Amsterdam for a little bit, all of the people out there supported Ajax as well. So I'd have to say that Ajax would be the team I'd support. Dylan says, team is Raya, Martinez, Munoz, Kirkes, Gabriel, Gvardiol, Burn. Beautiful. Eze, Cliver, Salah, Saka, Murphy, Isak, Mateta, Marmouche. Brilliant teammate. Again, the only concern would be Cliver. If you don't want to go Cliver, you could go Savinho. You could go Rashford, Rodgers. You could... You've already got 3 Newcastle, haven't you? Yeah. I mean, Bowen would be my first choice, but you're going to be like 0.2 short on Bowen, I think. So I think probably Savinho or a Aston Villa midfielder. Or you just go for another Bournemouth midfielder. Or just keep Cliver. I'm not saying Cliver definitely won't start. We just know that he's a doubt. Charlie says, I am wildcarding. I have Isak, Mateta and Watkins. Should I have Marmouche in there? You've got to have Marmouche, I think. Marmouche will be as the 9 on penalties with better minutes. With the fixtures that they've got. And Haaland's not back for at least 5 to 7 weeks. I think Marmouche is arguably the most obvious pick on wildcard, I think. Even more than someone like an Isak or a Mateta. I just think it's such a good option. So yeah, I would have Marmouche in there. Flabberdoodle says, I have Bowen. I actually think Marmouche is a really good captaincy shout, by the way. I'm very tempted. I have Bowen, Bruno G, and Livramento instead of Foden, Murphy, and Burn. The rest is your team. Any thoughts on this setup? Bowen and Livramento, I love. Bruno G, I don't understand. I don't get the desire to have him over a Murphy, for example. If you can try and explain it to me, fine. But I just... Lower attacking threat. Not as close to goal. I don't know what his price is, but I'm assuming a little bit more expensive or the same price. I would have Murphy. But I think Bowen and Livramento rather than Foden and Burn is absolutely fine. FPL Timbers says, I'm on wildcard, but my team value is low. Yeah, a lot of people are in that case. Can't afford Foden alongside Saka, Palmer, only Savinho. Would you go Savinho and Mateta or Eze and Eva Nilsson? Ooh. Yeah, Eze and Eva Nilsson's quite nice, actually. Objectively, probably Eze and Eva Nilsson. I am such a Mateta fanboy, though. I can't actually sit here and say that I would go without Mateta. So personally, my own team, I'd go Savinho and Mateta. Objectively, if I'm trying to give the best advice possible, maybe Eze and Eva Nilsson. Slightly safer for minutes. Eva Nilsson will be on penalties if Kluivert's not on the pitch. Eze's very talismanic, better minutes than Savinho. Eze and Evanilson is probably a better pairing. I just love Mateta. Dave says, wildcard active. Raya, Areola, Gvardiol, Gabriel, Munoz, Livramento, Konsa. Yeah, very similar to me. In fact, one player different to me there. Saka, Salah, Foden, Gordon, Sarr, Mateta, Marmoush, Isak. Yeah, Dave, it's basically my team, but better because you've got better team value, isn't it? Yeah, you've just got Gordon instead of Murphy and Livramento instead of Burn. Your team value, have I read that right? Yeah, your team value must be through the roof to be able to afford that team. Yeah, really nice. Who instead of Gvardiol? I mean, I would say Kushanov, but I don't know that he's fully nailed. Is Kushanov fully... I mean, I might be willing to take a risk there. Otherwise, maybe Konate and just accept that he doesn't have the double if you've got the value for Konate. I think Liverpool defence is maybe slightly underrated. I was looking at it myself if I had the funds to go for a Konate. Because they've got good fixtures in the weeks that you need them to, and they're the best defence in the league in terms of XGC away from home. Across the season, they're second behind Arsenal. So I really don't mind the idea of a punt on a Konate. Rohan says, is wildcard required? Appreciate your help. Right, let's look at your team, mate. Pickford, Fabianski, Munoz, 8, Nuri, Milenkovic, Vandenberg, Mikkel. Yeah, that's a wildcard. I don't need to carry on reading. You've also got Wood and Cliver. It's not an awful team, my friend. And if you really wanted to save it, you could. But just that defence alone's a little bit shaky. Forward line, you could get away with making I think if you've got the wild card, I'd play it. The only time I wouldn't play the wild card, Rohan, is if you've not got the free hit. If you've got a free hit in your back pocket, I'd wild card now. If you've not, maybe you just try and make a couple of transfers. Bring in Marmoush for Wood. Bring in... Maybe you could look for a Mateta for Wissa, for example. Maybe in defence, you make one move. If you've got the free transfers and no free hit, I'd maybe save the wild card, but otherwise just play it. AG has been a member for 40 months. That is a long time, my friend. Hey, Ross, thoughts on Rodgers on wildcard? Great. Any 5.5 million midfielders? No, Rodgers is top. Murphy and Rodgers. If you're looking 5.5 and below, I'd say Rodgers and Murphy. Stefan says, go with Cliver and Mateta or even Ilson and Eze. Yeah, I just answered a very similar one. I think objectively, even Ilson and Eze is probably the better picks. But I love Mateta. I try to, wherever possible, try and differentiate when I'm giving advice based on data and opinion. Sorry, data and like objective stuff versus just who I like and my own vibes and gut feeling. I don't think Mateta is that much of a better option than Eze. And even Ilson is at the moment probably a better option than Cliver. If Cliver was fit, I would absolutely say Cliver and Mateta because you've got 2 penalty takers. I prefer that option. But with the doubt, maybe even Ilson and Eze. I think that one's much closer. I myself would probably go for the Mateta combo. Hopefully that helps. It probably doesn't, but hopefully it helps. JPEG Sean says, can't decide between Palmer versus Saka, Martinez versus Areola. 2 premium keepers doesn't feel great. Savinho over Rodgers feels risky. Palmer versus Saka, I think I'd go Palmer if I had the funds, honestly. I prefer Palmer. I don't have the funds, so I've got Saka. Martinez versus Areola is definitely Martinez if you can afford it. If you can't afford Martinez by going with Palmer, just go for Areola. And Savinho over Rodgers feels fine as well. It's a risk, but it's a risk worth taking, I think. I'm getting through the super chats, by the way. I know a couple of people just said that I've missed theirs. I haven't. I hopefully missed any. I'm just working my way through them slowly. Alanga is a stopgap for Cliver at this game week, home to United. I don't mind Alanga, yeah. Don't mind him. Why Burn over Livramento? I have 0 in the bank with this draft, and Burn is 4.4, Livramento's 4.5. So it's literally all I can afford. Luke says, hey Ross, happy belated birthday. Thanks, Luke. Thank you for being here as always. Set on wildcard 30, triple captain 32, bench boost 33, free hit 34. Perfect. Wildcard is fairly similar to yours. Have Kirkes, Eze, Cliver instead of Foden, Sarr, and Konsa. Yeah, I think that's pretty close. Benching headache for this week. Maybe not. Maybe just bench Cliver if... in your defence. Got Munoz on the bench. In that case, I just wouldn't have Kirkes. Like, the benefit of Kirkes is the fixture this week. But if you're playing Kirkes instead of Munoz, like, why have Kirkes in the first place? You might as well go for Howson, who's a lot cheaper and can sit on your bench, or just go for a different defender altogether. Lewis Hardy says, welcome back, Ross. Thank you very much. Eze and Murphy or Sarr and Savinho? I think Eze and Murphy. Start 8 Nuri or burn? 8 Nuri. Foden, Disasi, Murphy for Rodgers, Conser, Kluivert. Disasi's just not nailed on. But I prefer that combo. Could you go Foden, Dunk, Murphy? It depends when you're looking to bench boost. If you're bench boosting in 32, Foden, Dunk, Murphy I like. If you're bench boosting in 33, then I'd probably have to go for the Rodgers, Conser, Kluivert combo. Dan M, good to see you, my friend, says, hi Ross, wildcard 30, triple captain 32. Yeah, same strategy. I like that one. Foden, Murphy, Saka, with Murphy to a Villa mid in 33. Or Foden, Gordon, Rodgers, or Asensio with Gordon to Saka 33. Or Foden, Murphy, Gordon. I think Foden, Murphy, Saka. I mean, I'm biased, Dan, because that's what I've gone for. I just think that's the better setup. And then Murphy to Rodgers is what I'm planning in Game Week 33. I just think that's the better setup for now. Again, guys, if you are enjoying the stream, can I please ask you to smash that like button? There are 4,000 people watching, only 300 likes, which means that pretty much everyone watching hasn't hit the like button. And also subscribe as well. I do really appreciate you subscribing. It means a lot. Hatik says, hey, Ross, gonna go... Oh, sorry. Hey, Ross, good to be back. Gonna wildcard next week, okay? 2 free transfers, have Wood and Kluivert. 2 options, get Marmoush or Mateta, use 2 free transfers, or get Sarr... That would be 1 free transfer, wouldn't it? Get Sarr for Kluivert, also start Wan-Bissaka or 8 Neri. Probably the last week of Henderson or sell Saga. It's definitely Hendo this week. Marmoush or Mateta? I think I actually might marginally prefer Marmoush now. And I'm a Mateta fanboy, by the way. I just think that Marmoush this week against Leicester at home is great. 2, get Sarr for Kluivert. I think I'd get Marmoush and Sarr and go for it. Yeah, I think I would. Because you don't want to fall too far behind this week. I like those transfers. Music and Sport says, have you considered Savinho, Trippier, Martinez, Wan-Bissaka instead of Foden, Burn, Areola, Conser? Extra 0.9 to enable Murphy to a Villa mid, for example. Yeah, it just comes back to me wanting Foden. I love Foden as a pick. If I can get him in my team where other people are struggling, it feels good. Like, not many people are going to have Foden because they just can't afford him. And if they can, they're not going to also have Saka, for example. Like, because my team value is decent enough and this exact combo I can just afford, I know that's not always a good reason to go for something, but it feels like other people will struggle to get to some of these players. I do like that combo that you've listed, though, and that there are a lot of upgrades there, but then I have to go for Savinho over Foden. Devay says, wildcard 30, bench boost 32. Martinez, Verbruggen, like the Verbruggen pick. Murillo is your other bench option. So your bench would be... Your bench would probably be like, I don't know, like Marmoush, Murillo, Verbruggen, and Saliba. Yeah, it's a nice bench boost 32, mate. I like that a lot. I'd give that a 9.5 out of 10. Hi, Ross. Thoughts on Foden or Bowen this week? Thank you. I like both, but obviously Foden would be the priority if you think he starts because he's got Leicester. But I think both Foden and Bowen are great. I have no real preference if you can do a lot with the money. If you've got the money for Foden, you don't need to use the money elsewhere. I'd go Foden. Gaz Bailey says, wildcard active. I have no free hits. I need to roll 3 transfers for 34. Okay. Do I swap him out or stick with him? Who? You forgot to put the person. Mids, I have a Saka, Salah, Sarr, Murphy. Who's the player? Is it Kluivert? Do I swap him out or stick with him? I think if it's Kluivert, you can stick with him because you don't need to play him this week. You've got 4 other good mids. I'm not sure who the player is because you missed out their name, but if it's Kluivert, I'd stick. Ishan gives me their draft and says, thoughts, 1 million in the bank. Cool, what a team that is. I think it's very similar to my team, but you've got Martinez rather than Areola. You've got Rodgers in there, Eze and Savinho. So you've basically gone Foden to Savinho to spread the funds a little bit more. I like it a lot. 9 out of 10, 9.5 out of 10, mate. Cyprian says, what do you think of Rico Lewis instead of Gvardiol? Rico Lewis just isn't as nailed as Gvardiol. Obviously, Gvardiol could miss a game, by the way, but Rico Lewis could rotate with Nunes, so I don't love the Rico Lewis pick. Warren Martin says, Saliba and 0.5 in the bank, or Gabriel and 0.3 in the bank. I think Gabriel is just better than Saliba, so I would go Gabriel. Flapjack has been a member for 27 months. Says, hi, Ross, what do you think of Trent Hall, Kluivert and Palmer? to Munoz, Kirkes, Bowen, and Saka use my 4 free transfers. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much. I'm going to shoot your dreams down, sadly, and say I probably wouldn't do Palmer to Saka. Kluivert to Bowen's fine. And then Trent to Munoz is fine. And even Hall to Kirkes. I think I would do all of those apart from Palmer. I actually think Palmer's slightly better than Saka this week and for the next 3 weeks. So I would do all of them bar the Palmer move, basically. Chris Pepper says, hit to reverse early Haaland transfer or wildcard early. I'd probably just wildcard early. So would you start Saka or Kluivert? Oh, that's a really good question. I'd start Saka unless we get news in the next hour and a half that Saka's not starting. I'd start Saka. Because I think Saka is more likely to start out of the two. Blackfinch says, hey Ross, would you wildcard here? Pickford, Fabianski, Munoz, Robinson, Colwell, Aina. It's not great defence, is it? Salah, Kluivert, Wanyeri, Palmer, Elanga, Marmoush, Wood, Isak. Yeah. Yeah, I would. I don't think there's that much in it, but I probably would. Latest Palmer news, been busy, love you. I love you too. Latest Palmer news is that he's been in training all week. We're not going to get a press conference because Enzo Maresca's press conference is tomorrow, but he's been in training. May you suggest a wildcard draft that allows me to bench boost in Game Week 33 whilst also having enough players to field a full 11 in blank Game Week 34 without using a free hit? I can't really sit there and do this right now, but what I would say, Liverpool players are your friend because they have Leicester in 33 and they play in 34. I would have 3 Newcastle because they've got a great fixture in Game Week 34. And then I would probably be looking at Chelsea aren't bad if you have a Cole Palmer in there. And then I think that will do you well. If you have 3 Newcastle, 3 Liverpool, that's already 6 players that play in Game Week 34. And then you only need a couple more sprinkled in there. But no, I can't really sit here right now and build that draft out because that will take far too long. But hopefully that helps. Just basically look at players that have a good fixture in 33 and also 34. That's all you have to do. Should be nice and simple. Foden, Kushner, Sarr, or Gvardiol, Rashford, Eze. Ooh. I'd probably say Gvardiol, Rashford, Eze. Probably Gvardiol, Rashford, Eze. Jay Saunders says, afternoon, Ross. On wildcard, okay, thoughts on Gordon down to Murphy and Kluivert to Diaz? I don't know about Diaz. I've not really been paying much attention, I'll be honest, to Diaz's minutes, but I don't see the allure there massively. No double. Even when he has played, his returns have been a bit inconsistent. I don't know about that. Kluivert to Bowen, I'd be more interested in. I'd probably prefer Bowen to Diaz. And yeah, to be honest, I quite like Kieran Trippier as a differential, Jay. Nick says, can I get your take on wildcard? Yep. I'm on Raya, Areola, Gabriel, Munoz, Gvardiol, Wan-Bissaka, Livramento. Perfect. Saka, Salah, Savinho, Sarr, Gordon, Isak, Marmoush, Mateta. I like it, Nick. My only concern is that I spoke to a few Newcastle fans and they seem to think that Gordon doesn't walk back into the 11. And Eddie Howe said that he's still not trained and that he's going to be in training in the next few days. The Game Week 31 game is this weekend. So I do think there's a chance that Gordon doesn't start the Leicester game. And I think that's really one of the games you want him for. Maybe even more so than the double is the Leicester game. I do think there are some worries with Gordon. But I don't want to put you off massively. Outside of that, Nick, it's a great wildcard. And seeing as he's on your bench anyway and you've got other good attackers, you can take the risk probably. Zach says, triple captain, bench boost, free hit left. Okay. Triple captain Saka Game Week 33 or Isak 32. It depends when you want a bench boost. I would plan the bench boost and then plan the triple captain. Bench boost is a better chip than the triple captain. So plan whether you want your bench boost in 32 or 33 and then play your triple captain in the alternative. In isolation, I think Isak is a better triple captain than Saka because his minutes are probably better with Saka coming back from injury. And I think I like the fact that it's 2 home games. And Isak's just a better asset than Saka for me. So I would have Isak triple captain slightly ahead. JJ says, wildcard 30, goalkeeper Raya, Areola, defence Gabriel, Munoz, Livramento, Konterhausen. Yeah, a little bit cheap, but it's good. Midfield of Salah, Saka, Sarr, Murphy, Kluivert. Forward line of Isak, Mateta, Marmoush. I like it. Kluivert's the only slight concern. If you are just joining now and you haven't paid attention to the press conferences throughout the day, Iraola said that Justin Kluivert is a doubt because of fatigue. So he didn't rule him out. He's not injured, but he's a bit knackered. And that would worry me, right? They could play, for example, Eva Nilsson, Semenyo, Dango, and Brooks quite easily. Like, they don't have to play Kluivert in this game. And even if he does start them, he's obviously not going to get more than about 60 minutes if he's fatigued. So I would worry about Kluivert this week. You can always bench him, of course. Mohit Kumar says, Trent to Munoz, great. Enzo to Eze, love it. Kluivert to Salah, love it. And Haaland to Mateta, love it. Going to play the wildcard next week. I would just wildcard then, actually. You're making 4 transfers to just wildcard next week. I like those transfers. They're all great. But if you've got the wildcard, save yourself 4 transfers. Because next week, after your wildcard, you'll come back with 4 transfers. So you can actually better use them for the future. There is no world in which I would make 4 transfers the week before I wildcarded. No world at all. Antonio says, hey Ross, would you wildcard with Sells, Gabriel, Gvardiol, Munoz, Kirkes, Kluivert, Palmer, Salah, Marmoush, Isak, Evanilson, and Bermo Alanga? No, that is not a wildcard. No. That's a great team. Wouldn't wildcard that ever. Absolutely not. Rich says, I have a wildcard similar to yours, but have the funds to upgrade either Saka to Palmer or Sarr to Eze. Only problem is Sarr to Eze leaves me no money. I prefer Sarr to Eze to Saka to Palmer, and I also probably prefer Areola to Emi Martinez. If you gave me an extra $1 million, I would do Areola to Emi, not Sarr to Eze, or Saka to Palmer. So I would upgrade your goalkeeper, probably. Only if you're on a bench boost, by the way. If you're not bench boosting, then don't upgrade the goalkeeper. But if you're on a bench boost, I think Martinez gives you more options. You can bench boost in 32 or 33 if you go for Emi Martinez. Posh has been a member for 25 months. Thank you very much. SH says, Ross, pick drop 1. Kirkes, Saka, Munoz, Saliba, Foden. Have to drop 1 this week. Saliba. Quite easily Saliba there. Edison and Rogers versus Martinez and Savinho. I actually prefer Martinez and Savinho, Johan. Yeah, I prefer Martinez and Savinho, just. That, again, is very, very close, though. It's like almost a 50-50. Am I crazy for wanting Bruno in my team? No, Bruno's great. The fixtures are a bit of a mixed bag. He doesn't double, but he also doesn't blank. I think if you're not free hitting in 34, he's great. All right, it will serve you well. If Man United get anything, we know that Bruno's at the heart of it. He's in such a good run of form. I have no issue with having Bruno. He's just very expensive, and there are other players that I'd rather own at the moment. Simon F says, on wildcard, going to a player assistant manager in 31, would you pick Sells or Pickford for bench boost 36? I quite like Pickford, you know. But Sells actually has a small chance of doubling. Probably Pickford. Also, start Saliba or Milenkovic this week. I would start Saliba ahead of Milenkovic. If you've got Gabriel. I think Arsenal defence are just better. I would start Saliba still, although Milenkovic with the goal threat. I've changed my mind. Simon, I would start Milenkovic because I think Saliba's got a slightly greater chance for a clean sheet, but Milenkovic is more likely to score. I would also consider Emi Martinez for bench boost 36 because Aston Villa have the greatest chance of a double in 36. So maybe Emi Martinez as well. Cruzy says, on wildcard 30, no free hit, got a draft with 3 City, 2 Arsenal, 3 Newcastle, 2 Palace. I can field 11 in 34 if I use all of my free transfers. Is this a bad idea? No, that looks good. 3 Newcastle obviously serves you well. I would try and get a couple of Liverpool in there. Konate and Salah. Have Konate. He'll serve you really well in 34. And maybe think about having Colwill or someone like that on the bench that will also serve you okay in 34. Maybe just try and add 1 or 2 further players if you can. But yeah, that looks like a good plan to me, my friend. If you can field 11 in 34 and the 11 are decent, like you'll have 3 Newcastle against Ipswich at home, I have no major issue with that. George Bowers says, 1 free transfer, 3 flagged. Palmer, Kluivert would help. Palmer's fine. Kluivert's not a massive issue because he's only fatigued, right? He's not injured. I say Wood is the biggest issue there. So I would say Wood to Mateta or Marmoush. Start Palmer, and then you have to decide in your own team what to do with Kluivert. Got an hour and 20 minutes till the deadline. Hopefully you are enjoying. Thank you to everyone that has liked the stream and has subscribed. I really do appreciate it. If you're not yet subscribed, please consider doing so. Yeah, I prefer Palmer to Saka. I don't think I have Kieran. Have I? Let me check. I thought I answered it. Oh, yeah. I don't know how I missed that one, mate. Sorry about that. Hi, Ross. HBD. Thank you very much. Thoughts on my draft? Raya, Martinez, Gvardiol, Gabriel, Munoz, Livramento, Nico Williams. Is this for Bench Boost 32? I assume, if you've got Nico Williams in there. Salah, Saka, Palmer, Sarr, Murphy, Marmoush, Isak, João Pedro / Eva Nilsson. Getting Mateta and City mid before 33. Yeah, I like that. See, if you only got 2... I don't like only having 2 Crystal Palace, though. Like, I'd want 3 Crystal Palace, but I really like that. It's nice. Again, I'm assuming a bench boost 32 based on the way you set that up. No major issues. I probably do prefer Eva Nilsson to João Pedro, but with Ruta being out for the season, which sounds likely, João Pedro's minutes are going to be very good, and he's on penalty, so I don't hate the João Pedro pick. Salah says, Wildcard 30 team, Jose Sarr, Munoz, Gabriel, Gvardiol, Salah Cap, Eze Sarr, Bruno G, Eva Nilsson, Isak Marmoush. Bench of Martinez, Asensio, Livramento, Dorgu. Then Bruno G / Eva Nilsson to Saka Watkins in Game Week 33. Again, I don't know about what this... Let me check, because I keep saying I don't know. I should just check, shouldn't I? Loads of people are saying Bruno G. Is Bruno G like 4.7 million or something? Bruno G is 6 point... Why are you having Bruno G instead of Murphy, everyone? I'd definitely have Murphy over Bruno G and keep the money in the bank. But otherwise, yes, that's a really nice plan. It's a really nice team. No major concerns and issues with me here. Polkit has been a member for 38 months. Says, hey, Ross, team. Sells Milenkovic, Kirkes Munoz, Mo, Semenyo, Kluivert, Savinho, Mbermo, Mateta, Haaland, Wood on the bench. Haaland to Marmoush, free transfer, comments. Yeah, Haaland to Marmoush, free transfer looks good. You can keep Wood on the bench. I'm assuming you don't have a wild card to play or you just really don't want to do it. You don't necessarily need to. You've got a really solid defence, a good midfield. The only concern is if both Wood and Kluivert are out, then you might have a slightly weaker 11 than you'd want. Sheriff says, I'm on the same draft, but with 0.2 million short, going Timber instead of Gvardiol. Do you see another way to free up 0.2 million? I'd probably say just don't have Foden. I don't like dropping Gabriel to Timber because Ben White's back. Like, how sure are we that Timber plays all of the minutes? I just wouldn't have Foden. If you can't afford this team, the most obvious player to lose is Foden. And I don't think you need him. I'm not sat here trying to convince you to buy Phil Foden at any point. You'll notice I've not really given many positives because I'm aware that it's a huge risk and it probably won't pay off, but it's a risk that I think I want to take. But I'm not going to try and sit here and convince anyone to go for Phil Foden at all. And he's definitely the player that is most expendable in this team. Taylor, thank you for the super chat. Says, which combo, Saliba and Eze or Munoz and Savinho? Oh. Probably Munoz and Savinho. Yeah, probably Munoz and Savinho. For Bench Boost 32, thoughts on sells for Everton in 32 and Leicester in 36, where I could bench Raya at Anfield. Yeah, I do like sells, as we spoke about, for Bench Boost 36. Oh, sorry, for Bench Boost in 32 and then to have him in 36. I don't mind that, actually. He's a lot of money, though, to play in 2 weeks, but I would be willing to have Emmy. I think sells is fine, yeah. I do like that in the 2 weeks that you need him, he'll be good. And Forest is so good defensively. Yeah, do you know what? I like sells. Daniel Mitchell says, hi Ross, FPL is back, finally. Who's the best Kluivert replacement on Wildcard? Can't afford Foden without Gvardiol to Kushinov. PS loving the content as ever. Yeah, I probably wouldn't go Foden. I think Bowen. I think Rashford and Rodgers. And then I think Murphy as a Sarr, of course, if you don't have those. I think Bowen would be my best choice, but he's obviously an extra like million on top of Kluivert, or a million and a bit. I wouldn't do Gvardiol to Kushinov just to afford Foden. I think Gvardiol is a much better player than Kushinov. Bruce Lee says, Rao or Wissa to Marmoush or Mateta? I think Rao to Marmoush. Cole, Sav, Gordon or Saka, Foden, Murphy? I'm biased because that's my 3, but I would say Saka, Foden, Murphy. Otherwise, I would choose the other 3, right? I just about prefer that option. Sam Vistosi says, Savinho versus Bowen. Bowen is much worse bench boost 33. due to money. If it's a much worse bench boost, I'd go for Savinho. If it's a slightly worse bench boost, like one player's a little bit lower, then maybe go for Bowen. But yeah, I wouldn't choose Bowen over Savinho to destroy your bench boost. MD says, on wildcard, Timber or Raya? Raya, Konate or Bradley? Konate. They're the two more expensive options, but I'd go Raya and Konate. Feeder Jabez says, hi Ross, thanks for the... Let me try again. Thanks for these quality videos. My team equals yours, except Henderson over Areola, Howson over Munoz, Cliver over Foden. I've got all of my chips with assistant manager planned for chip use. Wildcard this week, assistant manager 31 to 33, free hit 34, triple captain and bench boost in 36, 35, 36, 37. Yeah, I like those picks. Cliver, like I say, I will keep noting Cliver is a doubt, but it's up to you if you still want to have him in your team. Ross Fraser says, happy belated birthday. Missed Super Chat 10 minutes ago. Have I answered it now, Ross? Let me make sure I did, because I'm a little bit behind. I don't know that No, I actually didn't, did I? I still didn't. Right, just in case I didn't, I can't remember if I did. Wildcard, so Ross Fraser says, Wildcard 30, Raya, Areola, Gabriel, Munoz, Gvardiol, Livramento, Nico, Saka, Mo, Gordon, Sarr, Savinho, Isak, João Pedro, Marmouche. 5th in my mini league, okay. Safe to get 3rd, but different to chase, or use differential captain. All Newcastle, Aston Villa in bench boost 33 and free hit 34. Yeah. It's a good team, mate. I'm trying to think what could you do different. Maybe bench boost 32 would be different. But you'd need to have Verbruggen instead of Areola, and I don't know if you can afford that. Because if you've got João Pedro in your team, or is that John Philippe? If that's João Pedro, then you've already got a good forward for 32. That team is looking more like a 32 bench boost, but you've got Areola in there rather than Verbruggen. So that would be my comment on how you could be different. All right, let me get back to where I was. Paul Mulvey says, on wildcard, Gordon over Murphy and Martinez... Oh, sorry, Gordon to Murphy and Martinez to Kepa to upgrade Kluivert to Foden, or just do Kluivert to Savinho. I'd probably make those moves, mate. I don't think Murphy's a massive downgrade on Gordon as things stand, and Kepa's a really solid goalkeeper. I'd be tempted to make the moves, Paul. Hi, Foden and Murphy or Savinho and Gordon? I think Foden and Murphy, but that's because that's what I've done. If you're going to ask me an opinion on a set of players and I've chosen them, then obviously I'm going to lean that way. Sebastian says, Kluivert, Alanga or Rodgers? I'd probably say Rodgers. Also, should I run 3 Palace, Munoz, Sarr, Mateta if I'm assistant managing next week, or change out one of the players now? I wouldn't have 3 Palace if you know you're going to go for Glasner next week. I'll just keep that spot open. So yeah, I would go Rodgers, and maybe you end up having to remove... I'd be tempted to remove Munoz out of those options and keep Sarr in there as a cheap midfielder. But otherwise, Sarr to Murphy if you can afford to do that, or Sarr to Alanga. So you'd have Rodgers and Alanga in your team. Julian says, similar team only affords Saka or Foden. Who do I swap? I'd get rid of Foden. I'd keep Saka, get rid of Foden. Dazassi, Mazraoui, Fofana, or Tosin as the 5th defender. If you're bench boosting in 33, I'd say Mazraoui. Don't have an issue with that. Yeah, probably Mazraoui. Chicharito says, Eze and Bowen and Livramento, or Sarr, Bowen and Trippier. I think Eze, Bowen, Livramento. A-Track says, is it worth it to captain Marmouche to chase rank? Yep, I like Marmouche captain a lot. I like it a lot, no major complaints. Quizmaster Ben says, I'm on a similar selection to you, but I don't have all of the funds for Saka and Foden. That's fair enough. Which would you choose? And who instead of the other? So I would have Saka, and in Foden's position, I'd have Bowen, Savinho, or an Aston Villa midfielder. Something that's probably worth thinking about that I've not really thought about in too much detail is what I do if we get news that Saka's not playing. Like if we get news that Saka's benched, do I keep Saka and start Murphy, or do I switch Saka to someone else? My initial instinct is that I might switch Saka. But I don't know who. I could do Saka to Bowen. But then the fixture that I want Bowen for is 33, and by that point I'd want Saka back. I could switch Saka to... I'd probably want to get Saka to Palmer, but I don't know how I fund that because I don't have the funds for it. We'd work that out when we get the news. I'm hoping that he does start. Otto Ferdinand says, okay, already have Bruno, Mateta, Isak, Salah, Gvardiol, Palmer, Semenyo, Howson, etc. No Marmoush, but Wood in Burmo. When would you play the chips? I'd probably do Wood to Marmoush this week. Wildcard next week. So wildcard 31, bench boost 32 or 33, and then free hit in 34. Basically what I'm on, but maybe you could probably end up delaying the wildcard a week with that team. Jedi says, defense 4.7 million and below. Have Burn as defender and Murphy and Isak. Konsa, it's a bit boring, but good fixture in 32, doubles in 33 we expect. Wan-Bissaka, good fixture in 33 if that's when you need it. Dorgu has a good fixture in 33 if that's when you need it. Dunk has a good fixture in 32 if that's when you need it. It depends when you need the player, basically. George says, hi Ross, similar wildcard, if you have the funds, would you choose Livramento over Burn? Yes. What's your thoughts with Foden? Is he not too much of a minutes risk? He's a bit of a minutes risk, but it's a fun punt. Like, you can't play fully safe and fully optimal in FPL. You've got to choose times where you want to go a little bit risky, even though you know it's probably a bad decision. And that's what makes FPL fun, is making suboptimal decisions. There's nothing fun about always being good at FPL. That must be really boring. I like having decisions where I'm like, I probably shouldn't have done that. It makes me feel alive. So yeah, again, I do agree Foden's a minutes risk. I do agree that he's not played well this season. And I do agree that he's very expensive. But Phil Foden is also an exceptional talent. What I'll point to is in a season where Foden has been absolutely rubbish, we had this spell here where he got 6, 8, 15, 19, 7. When you give Foden a good run of games and a good run of minutes, he is brilliant. He really is. And I think with Haaland out, it might make City weaker, but I also think more of the onus is on Foden to deliver. So that's the idea there. If you had to get a second City defender, who would you get? Ederson and then Kushinov. Good day, Ross. Start one of Rodgers or Murphy. I'd probably start the home play. I'd start Murphy. Mason says Pickford, Sells, Munoz, Aina, Kirkes, Wan-Bissaka, Greaves. Okay, you give me your team. I won't read it all out, Mason. But 4 million in the bank and no wildcard or free transfers currently. How would you set this up for bench boost 33? Okay, so you've got Munoz. You've got Mateta. In terms of... You've got no Newcastle at the moment. I don't think you necessarily need a transfer this week, mate. Especially as you don't have one. So I probably wouldn't use a transfer this week. You then need to start transitioning to more Arsenal players, more City players. And then probably need to think about Gameweek 32 as well. Because you've got no Newcastle players and they've got the best double in 32. So I think you need to think about Isak. You need to think about Gabriel. You need to think about maybe chucking a Murphy in there. It's a tough spot to be in, I'll be honest. But you've got the money in the bank. I think you just need to start doing it over the next few weeks. Just basically transition players out that don't have a good fixture in 33 to those that do. You do also need to think about Gameweek 32, though, so don't ignore that. Love God says, we have pretty much the same team, but I have Savinho instead of Foden, okay? And can't have the 3 from Crystal Palace because I plan to use my assistant manager. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. So Savinho instead of Foden, and then just maybe instead of Sarr, you could choose like a Jared Bowen, or you could choose a Rodgers or someone like that. But yeah, that sounds like a nice team. Good luck with your assistant manager. Rio says, start 2 of Dango, Cliver, Milenkovic, or Bowen. I would start Bowen and Dango. I take a risk that Dango starts and Cliver doesn't. Obviously, that could backfire horribly. But I just think that Dango, like, they've got an injury to Tavernier. Clivert's fatigued. Dango's the fresh one. Like, surely Dango gets to start in this game. I'd start Dango and Bowen. Stom52 says, hi, mate. Okay, give me your team. You've got 0 free transfers, still have my bench boost and my free hit. Should I wildcard now or 31? You got the perfect 3 defenders in Burmo, Bowen, Salah, Palmer, Wissa, Isak, Mateta. I don't think that's a wildcard. It's better than what I had. Like, you've got no Wood, you've got no Haaland, you've got no Clivert. I don't think I would wildcard. I'd wildcard in 31, Stom. Flabberdoodle says, have your team Money is the issue. Raya for sells. I have 0 in the bank. I'd want Raya, really. But yeah, Raya, sells in for Raya is probably not an awful place to find the funds. If I would just not have Foden. But if you really want Foden, then probably Raya is the spot. God, it's so sunny. You can see in my other blind, which is there, the sunshine coming through there. It's going to get sweaty in here. What would be your differential wildcard team to catch rank, as most people have very similar wildcards? I think it would be City. I think I would have Savinho, Foden as options. You could even go triple City attack, Foden, Marmoush, Savinho. I would be looking at maybe triple Palace attack, Mateta, Eze, Sarr to be really aggressive. I think Jared Bowen's a nice differential. I think other than that, just wildcarding this week is differential. Like, lots of people think that everyone's on wildcard. As much as it feels like that, still a lot of these players, like Marmoush isn't going to be more than 50-60% owned amongst the top ranks. Ismail Assar isn't going to be more than 50-60% owned. So yes, you might have lots of players that are 60%, but when you put those in combination, that is still differential. Salem says, Martinez and Areola for Foden, or stick with Raya. I don't mind Martinez and Areola, actually, if you really want Foden, but I'd probably stick with Raya. But if you really want Foden, go for it. Hamad says, on wildcard, Palmer and Sarr or Saka and Eze. I would go Saka and Eze, but I think that's extremely close. Over this week, maybe Palmer and Sarr, because I prefer Palmer this week, but in the long term, I think Saka and Eze is such a nice pairing. Julian says, 6.4 million for one mid. Can't buy Foden. Who should I buy? Savinho. Matteo FPL says, Saka, Foden, Areola, Nico Williams versus Palmer, Savinho, Raya, Milenkovic. I'm going to be biased because that's my combo, but I would say Saka, Foden, Areola, Nico Williams. Yeah, I would say that one. And if you're chasing ranks, Saka and Foden are nice differentials, right? So even more the first option. Steven says, Wood to João Pedro or Marmoush? Oh, I assume that's JP as in John Philippe. If you're putting JP, can you just put Mateta? Because I assume it's João Pedro each time. We'll wildcard in the other in 31. I would go Marmoush this week, honestly. Kieran says, wildcard of Raya, Areola, Gabriel, Munoz, Byrne, Luka Dean, Kushanov. Okay, Saka, Mo, Eze, Cliver, Murphy, Isak, Mateta, Marmoush. I don't mind that team, Kieran. I think Luka Dean is too much of a risk. He won't start every game. So I think I'd probably go Konsa. And Kushanov, I'd prefer Gvardiol. If you can afford Konsa and Gvardiol rather than Luka Dean and Kushanov, I'd probably go there myself. I just think they're better options. But otherwise, it's really nice. Really nice midfield and attack. Cena says Diaz/Timber or Kluivert/Gabriel. Kluivert and Gabriel, but again, Kluivert is a doubt for this week due to fatigue. So you do run a risk there. Luke says, follow up to my question, Kluivert to Savinho, kept Kirkes because he's been in the team and wants some cover for Bournemouth. Do I still bench Munoz or Gabriel given that I have Raya? I just don't think you keep Kirkes. But if you really want to, I'd probably rather start Munoz than Gabriel, yeah. But I would not want to bench Gabriel personally. Fulham are not a great attack. But yeah, I couldn't bench Munoz. Like, I would almost argue that Munoz is the best defender for this week. Sorry, I just picked up my finger and it's bleeding, if you're wondering what I'm looking at. Averell says, can I have Rico Lewis instead of Gvardiol? No. I don't think so. I don't think that's the place to downgrade. I just think you're going to end up regretting that in Game Week 33. I just think Rico Lewis isn't nailed on enough. Like, they could definitely play Mateus Nunes there if they wanted to. Or when they've got players back, they can play a couple of their centre-backs at right back. So, no. I need someone else for Konsa for 4.2 is the other option. You could do Lewis Dunk for Konsa. Lewis Dunk for Konsa is not an awful shout. Sumac says, hi Ross, similar wildcard, got Livra instead of Byrne and not going Foden. Okay. 7.9 for a midfielder. Going Gordon and Saka, is that too much of a risk? Let's see what news we get in the next hour, but I don't think it's a huge risk, no. Bowen is your other option. Yeah, I would say Bowen because he's got a really nice fixture in 33 against Southampton. So if you don't want to risk Gordon, go Bowen. MN Chuckster, good to see you, my friend. Says, hi, Ross. Hope your wildcard works out. Wasn't able to watch the stream today, but still wanted to show the support. Enjoy your evening. Thank you, my friends. If you're still here, thank you. Sorry if you're not. I guess you won't hear this, but just bleeding profusely. Don't mind me. Thank you very much. I appreciate that so much. You're all very supportive, aren't you? Feels good to be back. Feels good to be back. Hi, Ross. No free transfer, but I have 6 doublers for Game Week 32. Perfect. Sorry, no free hits, but I have 6 doublers for Game Week 32. After free transfers, we'll have 5/6 doublers in 33. Okay. Thoughts on bench boost 33 or wildcard to make use of that double, or wait and wildcard 34? I don't love wildcard 33 or 34. I think wildcard 34 probably slightly more, but I think it's going to be difficult to build for 35 and beyond. I'd probably lean wildcard 34 slightly more. I don't think you can wildcard in 33 really with no free hit, Scott. So I'd say wildcard 34 just, but I think we approach that a little bit later down the line. Otto Fernand says, -4 to get Marmouche or play Wood/Mbermo chasing cap. If you're chasing, buy Marmouche and captain him. Yeah. Need to desperately get my captain right this game week. Currently have it on Marmouche, but can be persuaded. I have Salah, Mateta, even Ilson, Palmer. If you want to play safe, Salah. If you want to take a risk, Mateta or Marmouche will be my top 2. What's the difference in strategy between Areola and Konsa versus Martinez and Wan-Bissaka? If budget isn't an issue, which would you go for? Areola and Konsa or Martinez and Wan-Bissaka? I don't think there is a massive amount of difference there, assuming that you're bench boosting 33 or 30. Yeah, if you're bench boosting 33, I don't think there's a massive amount of difference. If budget was no issue, I'd go Martinez and Wan-Bissaka, but because budget is always an issue, I'd go for the cheaper combo of Areola and Konsa. Polkit says, I lost your message, Polkit. Pocket says, belated happy birthday, Ross. Sells, Kirkes, Milenkovic, Munoz, Mo, Semenyo, Clivert and Burmo, Savinho, Haaland, Mateta, bench of Wood, Greaves, Castagna, 1 free transfer suggestions. Haaland to Marmouche. Haaland to Marmouche. Keep it easy. Yeah. It's a nice team though, mate. Really nice team, Polkit. I just keep it nice and easy like that. The other option you've got is Haaland to Isak. I'd go Marmouche this week and then maybe do Wood to Isak in 31 or 32. TS15 says Gabriel, Gordon, Rogers, or Foden, Timber, and Murphy. Ooh. Gabriel, Gordon, Rogers, just. Here for FPL says, hey Ross, same wildcard as you, but Emmy and Nico Williams over Areola and Konsa. Great. Would you do any upgrades with 0.4 in the bank? I feel like you're just flexing. You're flexing the team value. Would I do... No, that's the main thing. I'd get Emmy Martinez in for Areola. I don't know that I would have Nico Williams over Konsa, unless you're bench boosting 32. If you're bench boosting 32, then yeah, I love it. Lovely, though, that you're in that position, mate. Take on the minutes risk Foden versus Savinho. I think they're both minutes risks, but I just prefer Foden as an asset. Why is everyone picking Forest and West Ham on wildcard? When do you plan to bench boost? I think if you're bench boosting in 32, you pick Forest players for your bench boost. I think if you're bench boosting in 33, you're picking West Ham. So that's why I can often tell when someone's planning to bench boost. If they've got Nico Williams, it's probably 32. If they've got someone like Wan-Bissaka or Areola, it's probably 33. Dropped Clivert, best alternative option at 6.6 budget. I think Rashford or Savinho. I'd probably go Savinho. Scenes when Foden plays at the 9 with Doku and Savinho. Yeah, Marmouche isn't nailed, but his minutes have definitely shot up. Douche McDouchehead, what a name. Says wildcard with 3 Palace, Newcastle, Arsenal and 2 City, no Villa, Clivert to Savinho or Elanga or someone else. I'd go Savinho. Yeah, Savinho is a minutes risk, but I like the risk. I think the risk is worth it. Vamos the Egg. I like Vamos the Egg. That might be my new intro to my YouTube videos. Judo Keith says, Game Week 30 and 31 is okay with the squad. Is it worth a -8 for Trent to Wood, Gvardiol to Marmouche? Sorry, Trent and Wood to Gvardiol and Marmouche, considering formers won't even play, so appearances is only -4. If you've got the wild card, I wouldn't take a -8. I'd just wild card. But if you've not got a wild card or you desperately want to save it, yes, they are moves that I would make for a -8. Kieran says, wildcard active, Raya, Areola, Gabriel, Munoz, Gvardiol, Burn, Konsa. Okay, yeah, great. It is exactly mine. Salah, Saka, Gordon, Kluivert, Sarr, Mateta, Marmoush, Isak. What are your thoughts? You've got exactly the same team as me, but instead of Gordon and Kluivert, I've got Foden and Murphy. So yeah, I like the team. It's basically my team. I'm not gonna criticize that at all, Kieran. Dennis says, making pizzas with the wife. Say hello to your wife, Dennis. I appreciate you watching, and sorry to your wife if she doesn't want to listen. Don't forget me. I will never forget you, Dennis. Should I take a couple of minuses or wildcard or stand down? No thoughts on future weeks. I think if you are in a position where you have the wildcard and you have the free hit, I would never be taking a hit. I would just wildcard, because I don't think the wildcard will change that much for Game Week 31. However, if you're in a position where you have the wildcard but no free hit, in that case, saving the wildcard could be really useful to navigate 33 and 34. I would probably wildcard, Dennis, unless you've got no free hit, basically. And I hope your pizzas go well. Is it good to bench boost 33 and wildcard 34 based on the previous chat? Yeah, I think that's a good strategy. I think bench boost 33, wildcard 34 sounds good. Dan says, thoughts on this wildcard draft, please. Raya, Martinez, Gvardiol, Gabriel, Munoz, Livramento, Conza. Great. Semenyo, Salah, Saka, Sarr, Murphy, Marmoush, Mateta, Isak. Borderline a 10 out of 10, Dan. I don't love Semenyo, but given Kluivert's a doubt and given they've got Ipswich at home this week, Semenyo is an absolutely fine pick. So yeah, I like it a lot. AKU says, happy belated birthday, Rossi. Thank you very much. Can you rate my wildcard? Of course. Raya and Areola, same as me. Gabriel, Gvardiol, Munoz, 8 Nuri, Kirkes, Sarr, Salah, Mbermo, Saka, Murphy, Marmoush, Isak, Mateta. Planning to bench boost 33. If you're bench boosting 33, I don't know why you'd have 8 Nuri. So I'd get rid of 8 Nuri. And I don't love Kirkes in 33. So I don't mind this draft, AKU. But if I was bench boosting 33, I wouldn't have 8 Nuri and Kirkes. I'd have better defenders for 33. So I would look at 33, look at what teams you think will keep a clean sheet, and then pick defenders for that. Mate, you missed my big super chat. Did I? How does this keep happening? I'm going to blame YouTube, because I genuinely can't see it. Dennis, I cannot see the one that you're referring to. Genuinely can't. I hate to do you dirty like that. Just send in a really small one, and I'll look again. Or no, don't send another super chat. You've already sent enough. Just reply to your most recent one in the comment. Reply to it, and I'll look at the reply. Sorry, guys. Sometimes YouTube just messes up. I'm trying my best. Can't understand why no one has mentioned Mikel Merino. I just think with Saka coming back, it could quite easily be like Saka, Trossard, Martinelli, or Martinelli as the 9, Wanyeri and Saka. Like, there are combinations, you know? Kirkes is so expensive these days, isn't he? Like, I get why, but he's so expensive. Blicky94 says, hi, Ross. Thank you for being here as always, my friend. Have Wood, Kluivert, Haaland, and Wanyeri with one free transfer. Thinking Haaland to Marmoush and Wood to Isak on wildcard 31, so 1 week punt here. If you've only got one transfer, I would not be taking it here. I would just wildcard this week. Otherwise, don't wildcard. Sorry. I would either wildcard now or just take one free transfer and just try and fill the squad. I hate taking a -4 the week before a wildcard, especially as you can now roll transfers through the wildcard too. You know? Thoughts on KDB? No one is talking about him. His minutes just aren't there, Pep. As much as I wish that is the... Imagine if that's the actual Pep Guardiola's been like, why is no one picking KDB? This sun is really upsetting me. It looks really weird. Chris Corbin says, if I plan to use my assistant manager on Glasner, who would you bring in defence instead of Munoz? Currently have Gabriel, Conza, Gvardiol and Livramento. I would be tempted by Konate, Chris. I'd be tempted by Konate, I think. Otherwise, Wan-Bissaka's fine if you're looking to bench boost in 33. You can't bench boost in 33 because you've got assistant manager. Maybe still Konate. I think it's fine. Right, where was I? Thoughts on Areola, Dunk, Disasi, and Savinho? Bench boost 32 allows 3 City attack, Foden, Savinho, and Marmouche. Also allows Saka on the bench this week if needed. Areola, Dunk, Disasi, and Savinho. Bench boosting with Areola feels awful. Disasi's not nailed. I'm really sorry to break your heart here, but I don't like that. Areola against Liverpool on the bench boost. Disasi, who might not play. Dunk's good and Savinho's good, but Savinho's not even nailed on to start every game. I think that's a very risky bench boost, personally. PJ says, welcome back and happy birthday, Russ. Thank you. Rate my wildcard. Raya, Kepa, Gvardiol, Howson, Gabriel, Livramento, Munoz, Saka, Eze, Mo, Mbermo, Murphy, Mateta, Isak, Marmouche. Not Shron Mbermo. Yeah, I probably wouldn't have Mbermo, but at the same time, can I sit here and say he's a bad pick? No. It's a great teammate. He's probably got a couple more Bournemouth assets than I would have, but also they do serve you well for the back end of the season. So I'll give it like a 9 out of 10, PJ. Yeah, I've got no huge issues with that. A couple of picks different to me, but that's good. And I don't think Mbemo is a bad pick. 0.5 short on your team. What changes would you do, goalkeeper? Firstly, I probably wouldn't copy me because I'm not very good. But if you are going to copy me, I would probably drop Foden. Foden's the one pick in this wild card that I probably wouldn't objectively recommend. It's just what I want to do. So that's the position I would do. Best sub 5 million defenders that isn't Konsa or Wan-Bissaka. Dorgu for 33 if you're wildcarding then. If you're bench boosting then. 32 if you're bench boosting 32, I'd go Dunk. So Dunk or Dorgu, depending which week you're bench boosting. But yeah, there aren't many good options sub 5 million. Michael says, hi Ross, similar team, Gvardiol and Savinho or 8 Nuri and Bowen, thanks. Gvardiol and Savinho, get those City assets in place. Are you planning on having Watkins later? Yes, in game week 33, I'll sell Isak to Watkins. Frosty said, finally finished my work calls. Pickford to Pope, Haaland to Marmouche, Wood to Mateta. -8, wildcard 35, still good luck. I hope your work calls went well. Difficult to criticise those moves. Are you captaining Marmouche? That's the real question. Right, Dennis, I finally got you. Sorry about that, my friend. Verbruggen, Kirkes, 8 Nuri, Gabriel, Munoz, Kluivert, Bellegarde, Mbermo, Salah, Rogers, Evan-Nilsson, bench of Haaland, Wood, Aina. Do I wildcard roll or take some minuses? I'll happily donate to my guy again. Thank you so much. I'm very sorry. Would I wildcard that team? I'm going to be really annoying and say it doesn't need a wildcard, but yes, I would wildcard. Because I think you're playing a 4 at the back. You've got a couple of suboptimal picks in there. You've got Haaland and Wood. I would probably wildcard that, my friend, but it certainly doesn't need it. Would I roll the transfer? No. If you're not going to wildcard, I would do Haaland or Wood to Marmouche. Probably Haaland to Marmouche. But if you are going to wildcard, I think it is justified and I think it will look fine. Hitik says, in the previous super chat, I meant I'll have to use 2 free transfers to get money to fund Marmouche or just use 1 free transfer to do Kluivert to Sarr. Oh, I understand. I could also roll and start 2 out of 8 Nuri, Wan-Bissaka and Milenkovic. Rank who to start. Ranking who to start out of those, I'd probably say Milenkovic, 8 Nuri, Wan-Bissaka. Probably just do Kluivert to Sarr in that case. If you're having to use 2 transfers to fund Marmouche, as much as I think Marmouche is good, I'd always choose the option which requires the least transfers. Kluivert or Savinho, I'm on wildcard. Savinho on wildcard. WBA, is that meant to be AWB? Wan-Bissaka, Konsa, Livramento, pick 2. Konsa and Livramento. Mohar says, hi Ross, Gvardiol and Agbadu and Palmer versus Kushinov, Konsa and Saka. Probably Gvardiol, Agbadu, Palmer. I don't love the Agbadu pick, but I just think Gvardiol was better than Kushinov. Palmer, Saka's pretty close. I think Gvardiol's a big enough upgrade that I'd go for the Gvardiol one. Alex says, on wildcard, if Kluivert is a doubt, take out for Rogers. Yeah, I think Rogers over Kluivert's really nice. I have no issue with that. William Young says, hi, Eze and Evan-Nilsson or Mateta and Murphy? Ooh, that's so tough. I've got Mateta and Murphy because I love Mateta. Eze and Evan-Nilsson is a great pairing though. But Mateta and Murphy also give you an extra fixture in 32. Hi, Big Omelette. Is Munoz essential? Thanks, Egg. Not at all. I think you can go for Henderson instead of Munoz. You could go for Eze, Sarr, and Mateta as a triple up on the attack. Munoz is not essential. In fact, after this week, are we really going to play Munoz that much? Or are we going to expect that many clean sheets is really what I mean. 31, that's a tough game. 32, the double is 2 away games against City and Newcastle. 33, it's probably going to be a double of Bournemouth and Arsenal away. Munoz doesn't really have the fixtures for clean sheets, so you do need the attacking returns. Hi, Raya, Munoz, Savino, or Anderson, Saliba, Sarr? I think Raya, Munoz, Savino. Just about. I can afford Trippier and Wildcard. Do I go there? I think Trippier is a much better option than Livramento and Burn, but he's also more injury prone. So when he's on the field, I think Trippier's better, but how often is he going to be on the field? Is he going to get injured? Izzy Gaming says, so Baby Cakes, wildcard thoughts. Raya, Areola, Gabriel, Kirkes, Gvardiol, Livramento, Wan-Bissaka, Salah, Saka, Sarr, Eze, Gordon, Isak, Mateta, Marmoush. Bench boost 33, 0.1 in the bank. Yeah. Like a 9.5 out of 10. Like Wan-Bissaka. Like Kirkes for this week. Looks good. No major issue there. Yeah, you've got the triple Palace attack. Yeah, like a 9.5 out of 10. Really, really strong. Really strong. Thoughts on Son until... I hate it. I'm reading a message and YouTube has like an auto refresh it does sometimes. And then it just refreshes and now I can't. Anyway, thoughts on Son until 32 and then Saka for 33. I think if I was going for a shorter term punt, I would just go for Foden or Palmer. I don't want to put you off of Son, but Son's minutes haven't been great. Spurs are really inconsistent and his performances have dropped off a cliff this season. I do understand it's for the fixture, is it in 31, but I think I'd rather go Palmer or Foden. I've got the same team as you, but Palmer instead of Saka. If I could afford that, I would do that. If I could afford Palmer over Saka, I would go Palmer. So yeah, I like that, Martin. Bob says, I have your team, but Kluivert instead of Saka. Should I prioritise Saka or Foden? I would rather Saka than Foden. If I was to order those 3 premiums and advise you where to go, I would say Palmer, Saka, Foden. In that order. Kendo says, wildcarding next week. Team set up fine for this week. Is it... Well, that sun is so annoying where it is right now. Team set up fine for this week. 1 free transfer. Worth going Mbermo to Sarr/Eze when I'll be wildcarding one of them in next week. I would just keep Mbermo. Mbermo's on penalties. All you need is a penalty for Brian Mbermo and it makes it up. So yeah, that's what I would do. Can you help tell me how to improve my team, please? It's in your Discord. Thank you so much for the super chat, Keith. Unfortunately, I don't do that on stream because otherwise people start sending me stuff and saying it's in your DMs. I have to open up messages and stuff, so I can't do that. But thank you for the support, and I do apologise. Rory Andrews says Palmer now and swap to Saka in 33, or save the transfer and go with Saka now. If I had the money, I would still go Palmer for 3 weeks and then move to Saka in 33. I don't have the money, therefore I'm not. I would go for Palmer. 0.3 short of your team. Should I do Raya to sells to get there? I really want to keep Foden. Yeah, if you really want to keep Foden, Raya to sells is an absolutely fine way to free up the funds. Mauro says, hi Ross, feelings on Palmer and Gibbs-White. Salah, Mateta, Isak, Mbermo, Marmoush, and Wanyeri and 2.1 in the bank as well. Marmoush or Mateta captain. Palmer's great. Gibbs-White, I don't know if he'll play. I assume that he will, but he's touch and go, right? I wouldn't mind removing Gibbs-White. I think Palmer's absolutely great. Keep Palmer, start Palmer. Marmoush or Mateta captain, I think I'd go Marmoush. N. Shep says, done Haaland to Isak. Should I transfer Wood for Marmoush? Would then be a -4. Cheers. Should I transfer Wood for Marmoush? For a hit. If you're wildcarding next week, I don't love that. But Marmoush could easily out. I would probably do it. I don't like taking a hit before a wildcard, and I'll keep saying that. But I do like Wood to Marmoush. Matthias says, no wildcard, what to do with my team? Alisson, Fabianski, Aina, Gabriel, Mikolenko, Hall, Munoz, Bruno, Bellegarde, Palmer, Kluivert, Salah, Marmoush, Mateta, Wissa. Money, no problem. It's a great team, mate. I don't think you desperately need to do anything this week. Gabriel, Aina, Munoz. Probably the midfield where you're lacking a little bit. Like, I think a Crystal Palace midfielder would be really nice. So, I mean, if you have a free transfer to use this week, you could do Bellegarde to Sarr or Bellegarde to Eze if you've got the money. Or maybe Kluivert to Eze or Sarr if you don't think he'll play. Polkit says, a small birthday gift for one of my favourite content creators. Take care, mate. Wish you the very best. Thank you so much, my friend. I really do appreciate your support over the last few years. Joel, no message, but thank you very much. Joel Stephen has been a member for 42 months. Says, hi, Ross. Team is Henderson, Gabriel, Colwill, Kirkes, Salah, Palmer, Kluivert, Semenyo, Marmoush, Isaac, Mateta. Mbermo first sub. Wildcard 31 instead. Honestly, mate, I was about to say, I think that's a really good wildcard. You don't need a wildcard. You absolutely don't need a wildcard in 31. Save the wildcard. That is an exceptionally good team. I was literally going to say it's a good wildcard. Yeah, I don't think you need a wildcard in 31, Stephen. See how you get on in midweek, but I don't see a reason why you'd need to wildcard that ever in a million years. Best Kluivert replacement. Savinho, Bowen, Rashford, Rodgers. Outside of the obvious Crystal Palace and Newcastle. If you've not got 3 Palace, 3 Newcastle, that should be the first priority. Whoa. Big boy Chunks in the chat. Good to see you, my friend, with a ridiculously generous super chat. Thank you. No need for you to do that, but I appreciate it. Hello, Ross. I've done Savinho to Elanga. By the way, everyone, say hello to Chunks. Good to see you, my friend. I've done Savinho to Elanga. Yeah, I like that. Listen, as a Man United fan, Elanga's going to be proper up for that, and he's going to do pretty well. I also think because Chris Wood might be out, Elanga is probably going to play even closer to goal than he's been. Like, Elanga's basically been playing as a forward anyway, but I think he's going to be much more sort of tucked in. Areola to Martinez and Sarr to Eze now have 0.6 in the bank. Is that good, or what else would you suggest? Easy. Easy stuff. Yeah. I prefer Eze to Sarr if you can afford it. I think Elanga is a great alternative to Savinho, and Martinez is much better than Areola. Keep the 0.6 in the bank, mate, and your team looks good. Hopefully, Chunks, this wildcard will throw us up the mini leagues. I really think this is a strong wildcard. The only thing that would screw us is if the Premier League decide to randomly do something crazy with the fixtures that we didn't predict. But as long as the fixtures go roughly as we expect, I think anyone wildcarding with a similar-ish team should have a strong end to the season. Right, where was I? Mario says Palmer, Murphy, Trippier, or Saka, Gordon, Livramento. Ooh, Palmer, Murphy, Trippier, or Saka, Gordon, Livramento. Oh, I don't know. Palmer, Murphy, Trippier. Palmer, Murphy, Trippier, just about. Jason F says, hi, Ross, good to have you back. Would you take a hit to bring in Isak this week for Beto and then start Isak and bench Rodgers? Already had to take a hit once this... Sorry, I've already had to take one hit this week. Only if you're not wildcarding next week. If you're wildcarding next week, I would just wildcard this week. It's the same point that I'll keep making. I don't understand why you'd want to take hits if you're wildcarding next week. If you're telling me you're not wildcarding next week, then I think Isak in for a hit makes sense. You're going to want him anyway. He's got a good home fixture. He's got Leicester next week. I really don't mind that at all. Sorry, Chunk. I've just seen Chunks' reply to that comment. If you've not seen Paddy's tweet, odds on FPL about, it was like, you know, the spatial entropy and the taking quantum leaps. If you've not seen that tweet about Marmoush, it killed me off. The thing is, it's satirical as well, and I think loads of people didn't understand that Paddy was tweeting in a satire way, and it would just made me laugh so much. I'll look at your team in a second, Pickle. Pickle just sent me her team across. Teddy says Milenkovic, Gabriel, Raya, Munoz, Castagna, Greaves, Elanga, Kluivert, Salah, Mbermo, Isak, Wood, Haaland, Dango. Wildcard or go Marmoush, Mateta for a -4. I don't think that team desperately needs a wildcard at all, my friend, especially with Dango probably going to play. Yeah, I don't even know that you need to take a -4. Could you not just do Haaland to one of Marmoush or Mateta and then bench Chris Wood? If that was my team and I wasn't wildcarding, I'd bring in Marmoush or Mateta for Haaland, bench Chris Wood, and then your team looks pretty good. I also think you can get away with bench boosting, though. Wildcarding now and have the bench boost triple captain and free hit left. What's the best strategy? Bench boost triple captain. I think it's the same as me. So wildcard now, you'll triple captain in 32, bench boost in 33, and free hit in 34. You could also switch the bench boost and free hit. Bench boost and triple captain. Basically, you want to bench boost and triple captain in 32 and 33. It really doesn't matter which way around you do them. You either bench boost 33 and triple captain Isak in 32, or you bench boost 32 and triple captain Saka in Game Week 33, or Watkins. David says, really unsure if I should wildcard. Have used a free transfer already, but have Wood, Kluivert, Strand Larsen, Wissa compared to wildcard team look weak. Kluivert's fine. Wissa's not a huge issue. I need to know so much more. How many free transfers do you have? What other chips do you have available? What's the rest of your team? I think if you are worried or just think your team could be upgraded, just wildcard now. Peter says, Timber, Foden, Sarr, or Gabriel Savinho Eze. Timber, Foden, Sarr, or Gabriel Savinho Eze. I think Gabriel Savinho Eze. Sorry if there was a little bit of lag there, guys. Pope and Areola. What's wrong with Pope versus Raya? Pope's fine. The only issue with Pope is I think Dubravka has been a better goalkeeper this season. That's maybe just my opinion. I just think Pope's made a couple of mistakes and Dubravka has always looked really solid in net. So I just have some concerns about whether there is a potential for Dubravka to get a game in goal. It probably won't happen, though. It probably won't happen. Leo said, if you didn't do Foden, which midfielders are next best, and how would you spend the extra money? I'd be tempted to go for someone like Bowen. Otherwise, I would go for Savinho. I would upgrade Areola to Emi Martinez. I would upgrade Burn to Trippier. And then maybe Sarr to Eze. Those are the places where I would upgrade if I didn't go for Foden. Joel says, would you wildcard and save a transfer? Wissa versus Mateta, Bruno versus Savinho, Kirkez versus Munoz, Mbeumo versus Sarr, Areola versus Raya. Those are the upgrades that you would make. Yeah, I think you're okay to wildcard them, but I also don't look at those and think, oh, wow, you're hugely upgrading your team. Like, Mbeumo Sarr's not that different. Kirkez Munoz isn't that different. Fernandez Savinho, I would be tempted not to wildcard. I don't think you necessarily desperately need that looking at your team there. You've got just over 30 minutes until the deadline, by the way. We don't yet have an update on Saka, but that is what we are obviously waiting for in the next half an hour to hopefully find out if he's going to start or not. Right, let's have a look. Pickle sent her team across. Sorry if there's a little bit of lag coming. So Pickle's team is the same as mine, but she's got Verbruggen rather than Areola, so she's on bench boost 32. She's got Kluivert in there still. She's got Eze. She's got Palmer. So Kluivert, Eze, Palmer, Verbruggen versus Areola, Foden, Sarr, Saka. Yeah, her team's probably better. It's a nice team, Pickle. Yeah, I see no major issue with that. I like it a lot. I think a lot of wildcard teams are basically 9 or 10 players the same, and then it's just those surrounding players are slightly different. I mean, if my computer could not choose this point to break down, it's been doing so well. Craig says, hey Ross, Murphy and Savinho or Rodgers and a punt on O'Reilly? I'd go Murphy and Savinho. Yeah, Murphy and Savinho. Phil with an F says, have Wood, start 8 Nuri Robinson or Dango. Dango. Raya and Kirkez versus Martinez and Saliba. I think Raya and Kirkez for me. I just prefer that combo. How to play the rest of the season. Got wildcard, assistant manager, and bench boost left. I'd wildcard this week. I'd assistant manager 31 to 33. And I'd bench boost in 35 or 36. Matthias says, thanks for the answer. Bellegarde to Eze or Wissa to Isak? I'd probably do Bellegarde to Eze this week. Wildcard 30 draft 1 says REZ. Raya, Areola, Timber, Munoz, Gvardiol, Burn, Konsa. Okay, you give me 2 drafts. I'm not going to read out all of those players there. Which do I prefer? Isak, Teta, Marmoush, and both. I mean, they're very similar drafts, aren't they? I think overall, I probably prefer the draft with Savinho rather than Foden, mate. So I probably prefer wildcard draft 2, but you don't have Foden. So it comes down to how much do you want Foden. If you desperately want Foden, obviously you'll have to go for 1. But as someone that doesn't think Foden's essential, I think probably wildcard draft 2 is a little bit stronger. C2 Lois says, keeping your team as it is, but you had the exact money to upgrade Burns, Livramento, and Areola to Martinez, would you do it? Yes, mate. 100%. I would at least definitely do Areola to Martinez. I think Burn versus Livramento is quite close, but Areola to Martinez is a move I'd love to do. I just can't afford it with this team. Adil Chowdhury says, on wildcard, Savinho and Saka or Foden and an alternative mid for 7.5 and under. I think Savinho and Saka. If not, Foden and Bowen, but I think Savinho and Saka. JP says 1k rank. 1k rank. Fair play, JP. With wildcard, bench boost, free hit, triple captain, and 2 free transfers. Have Cliver, Wood, Haaland, and no Palace. Think I should wildcard and do Haaland and Wood to JP and Marmoush. And I would just wildcard now, mate. As long as you've got time in the next 28 minutes to build a wildcard, I would wildcard now. Max says, hey guys, just got on. What's the doubt with Cliver? So Cliver is a doubt due to fatigue. That is the latest news that we've got. Fatigue. Not due to an injury, just fatigue. By the way, if you're one of the 6,000 people watching now that is not yet subscribed to the YouTube channel, could you please subscribe? I'd really appreciate it. Make sure to drop that subscribe button and drop a like as well. Why not? Anyway, third Palace is Henderson. Can do Henderson to Martinez, then Cliver to Sarr. I would just keep Henderson. I think Cliver has a chance of playing. I just don't know if he's going to start or get more than 60 minutes, you know? Trying to catch up. Have you got an alternative front three? If you don't want to go for Isak, Mateta, Marmoush, and by the way, I think their ownership will be lower than you think as a combination. I think Evanilson and Watkins. Evanilson and Watkins are the 2 alternative forwards that you could go for. Dennis, as always, just so supportive, says, last one, mate. Wildcard draft, thoughts. Okay? Oh my God. I hate the lag. Hopefully the audio is coming through fine. It's just like my computer just gets a bit hot, basically. Raya, Areola, Kirkes, Aït-Nouri, Gabriel, Munoz, Gvardiol, Saka, Bellegarde, Sarr, Salah, Isak, Marmoush, Mateta. 5.7 million and need the last midfielder. Rodgers, much love. I don't know that I'd go Bellegarde, mate. Can you not put Murphy in instead of Bellegarde? Rather than Bellegarde and... So I would go Murphy and Rodgers in those final 2 spots. Unless you just love Bellegarde. Unless you just really want to keep Bellegarde in there. But I would go Murphy. Because as of right now, you've only got 1 Newcastle, right? I would also, instead of Aït-Nouri, I would have Burn or Livramento. So I'd change Aït-Nouri and Bellegarde, unless you're a Wolves fan, to Burn and Murphy. And then I would change out... Yeah, I'd have Rodgers in that final spot. Rodgers or Murphy to start. Happy birthday, by the way. Thank you very much. I would go Murphy because he's at home. Sebastian Bird says, Rodgers or Murphy... I did that one, sorry. Sumac says, hi Ross, rate my wildcard. Okay. Raya, Areola, Gabriel, Munoz, Gvardiol, Livramento, Konsa, great back line, Salah, Palmer, Bowen, love it, Sarr, Murphy, Isak, Mateta, Marmoush. Like a 9.8 out of 10. 9.9 out of 10, Somac. Really nice. Scott says, hi, my plan is to wildcard 32, bench boost 33, free hit 34. No triple captain, what do you think? Yeah, I don't mind it. I assume you're delaying the wildcard to 32 for a reason. I think you could just play it in 31. We should have the info by then. A lot of the teams that you'd want in 32, you'd also want in 31. So I think you could just wildcard in 31. But yeah, otherwise it looks like a good plan. Aaron Ford says, Raya, Martinez, Gabriel, Munoz, Gvardiol, Livramento, Konsa, Salah, Savinho, Sarr, Palmer, Isak, Mateta, Marmoush. What would you change? Honestly, my friend, I wouldn't. It's great. Nothing. Not a single player there that I would change. I think you're all good. Very, very nice team. If you had $1 million, I'd say maybe you could go like Sarr to Eze, but you don't, so I would just leave it, Aaron. Michael says, rate my team. Henderson, Murillo. Oh, why does it do that? Where is that? Okay, here we go, Michael. Rate my team. Henderson, Murillo, Gabriel, Konate, Salah, Sarr, Kluivert, Palmer, Mbeumo, Isak, Marmoush, subs, Verbruggen, Murillo, Wissa, Robinson. Just use my 2 free transfers, 1.2 in the bank, possible wildcard 31. That's a really nice team, mate. You've got a few players in there that you wouldn't have on a wildcard, but that's a good thing. Like, you can differentiate yourself from those wildcarding. Yeah, I think you probably do need a wildcard in 31. I would agree with that. So I think after you've got through this week, you probably do hit the wildcard. Nawaf says, Bowen or Savinho? Can't afford Foden. I'd be tempted to start with Savinho and then maybe move to Bowen if Savinho doesn't work out. As a Palace fan, the triple up scares me. Mateta back from injury and next few games are tough. Gone for Semenyo over Savinho or even Ilson for John Philippe. I would prefer Semenyo over Savinho. I think John Philippe's great. I mean, you're a Palace fan, so you tell me, but I wouldn't worry about him coming back from injury. I think worst case scenario, he probably gets like 75 mins, which is still fine. Oliver Glasner commented that Mateta's starting to find his feet a little bit with rhythm as well, so I wouldn't worry. Is Kluivert not playing? I have Dango on the bench. Do you think Dango starts? I don't know if Kluivert will play. All we know is that he's a doubt due to fatigue. I do think that Dango starts, yeah. I don't know that again. I'm guessing. My guess would be Kluivert on the bench, Dango starts. We could very easily see the opposite, though. Hrishi has become a Rep Tier 2 member, Rep Tier 1 member. Sorry, Hrishi. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. What a superstar. Welcome. I really do appreciate it. Wildcard, Palmer and Burn versus Saka and Livramento with 0.5 in the bank. Palmer and Burn, I'd go. Ollie's, Henderson, Cucurella, Gabriel, Robinson, Neto, Mbermo, Salah, Palmer, Isak, Wood, and Mateta. Dango on the bench, no free transfers. What should I do? I'd probably start Dango over Wood and then leave it. Team looks good. Yeah, Dango over Wood. Team looks good. Cash Mooley says Foden and Bruno or Saka and Savinho. Foden and Bruno or Saka and Savinho. Saka and Savinho for me. Palmer over Saka if you had the money, says Mark. Yes. Bob says, why Areola? Do we know... Areola I've got because I'm bench boosting in 33 and he's got Southampton. Do we know if Savinho starts? No, but I would guess that he does. And what would you change if bench boost 36? Thanks and happy birthday. If I was bench boosting in 36, I don't know because we don't know the fixtures in 36. It's as simple as that. I might have a couple more Forest players. Nico Williams sells. And I might have a Everton player. I think they've got a good fixture in 36. So like a O'Brien or Mikalenko or someone like that you could go for. Dylan says, hey Ross, deciding on Konsa, Konate, Milenkovic, bench boost 32. Milenkovic probably if you've got the funds. Hey Ross, don't have the budget for Gvardiol. Is Kushinov okay or should I go for someone else? Have the same team as you. I don't love Kushinov. I almost wonder is like Raya to Sells or something like that a better way to free up the funds? If you really can't find another way and you desperately want Foden, that's fine. I just wouldn't have Foden. I'd rather keep Gvardiol and sell Foden than sell Gvardiol for Kushinov personally. Why Saka over Palmer? I can't afford Palmer. It's as simple as that. Otherwise, I'd go for Palmer. Khan says, wildcard draft, Raya, Gabriel, Gvardiol, Munoz, Saka, Salah, Sarr, Kluivert, Isak, Mateta, Marmouche. Great, yeah. Bench, Martinez, Murphy, Burn, Kirk is 1.1 in the bank. It's good to have that team with 1.1 in the bank. Can I use assistant manager next week and bench boost sometime later? Yeah, I would probably assistant manager 31 to 33, Khan, and then bench boost in 35 or 36. Probably 36. But yeah, that's a really nice team, Khan. No major changes. I haven't got a huge issue with that. Kluivert, obviously, again, is a doubt due to fatigue, but I've said that a few times. It's up to you if you still want to take that risk or not. Zed Brown says, have your team but Emi, Konate, and Diaz. Very nice. Over Areola, Konsa, and Fernandez with a look to bench boost 32 with Emi, Konate, Gvardiol, and Diaz. What are your thoughts? That is a sensational bench boost as long as Luis Diaz starts. I don't really know because I've not been tracking Liverpool's minutes. As long as you think Diaz is nailed on, that's great. If you think Diaz is a major risk to start that week, then obviously it doesn't look as good. Dylan says, which Villa midfielder to replace Kluivert? I think Rodgers is best for minutes, but I think Asensio and Rashford are better picks when on the pitch. I would go Rodgers, but I also think Rashford is very cheeky. One more question. Luka Dean or Konsa? Konsa. Just seen your message, Dennis. Yeah, sorry, mate. I'm a bit behind. Big love, though. Appreciate all of your support. Saka versus Kluivert and Foden versus Minte. So do you mean Saka and Kluivert versus Foden and Minte? I would go for the Saka combination. I think. Is that what you're asking? If it is literally Saka versus Kluivert, then Saka, and if it's Foden versus Minte, then Foden. I'm not quite sure if that's what you're asking, though. Jay says, Foden and Eze or Palmer and Sarr? Palmer could become Saka in 33. Oh, that's so tough. I think I'd go Palmer and Sarr. Kepa and Kluivert or Areola and Rashford have 11 million. I think Kepa and Kluivert's a stronger combination. Averell says, Savinho instead of Foden allows me Gvardiol instead of Lewis, Martinez for Areola, Livramento for Burn, and Konsa for Dunk. Yeah, that is worth it, Averell. Yeah, I'd just lose Foden in that case. I'd just lose Foden. If selling Foden gives you all of those upgrades, it's just worth probably doing. Guys, I'm a little bit behind on the super chat, so I would just say I've got 20 minutes left, and I'm trying to also look between the main chat. So from here on in, at your own risk that I won't get there before the deadline. And if you have sent a super chat in, I'm a little bit behind, but I will get there. All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Appreciate all of the love and support. It feels good to be back. It really does. And apologies if there's any visual lag. Hopefully the audio is still coming through fine. Yeah, just under 20 minutes till the deadline. So I would just think about locking in your teams, right? We've got a little bit of time, but don't leave it too late. Hi, Ross, Savinho or Semenyo? I would go Savinho. Thinking Mateta captain over Salah, top of my league by 25 points, behind by 42 in my other. I think that Marmoush, Salah and Mateta are 3 good captaincy options. I am going for Salah because I prefer captaining midfielders and he's very consistent. Skreza says, Eze and even Ilson or Mateta and Cliver with the knock. With the knock, maybe the first option, but Mateta and Cliver is 2 penalty takers. Eze and even Ilson is 0 penalty takers. So assuming that Cliver is fit and available soon, the Mateta and Cliver combo is better. Haaland Trossard to Mateta Saka, -4, or Neto to Eze -8. As long as you're not wildcarding next week, I'll just get all 3 of those moves done. Martin says Gvardiol, Agbadu, and Saka, or Kushinov, Konsa, and Palmer. I'll probably say Gvardiol, Agbadu, and Saka. Matthew says wildcard or wait for 31. Bench boost free hit, 0 free transfers left. Oh, that's probably right on the fence, mate. I think if you're on the fence, wait. I do think you can upgrade that team, though, this week. I'd be tempted to hit the button, but you've only got 15 minutes. So if you don't feel like you can build a good draft and it's going to be rushed, I'd wait. If you're happy to go now, I do think you can upgrade your team quite a bit, Matthew. Mohammed says, why not keep Palmer then switch? Only dilemma I have. I don't have the money to go for Palmer. If I had the money, I'll say it again, I would have Palmer over Saka. I can't, though. Saka was seen with the squad from a picture on Critical Thinkers Twitter. Yeah, so Saka has been confirmed as with the squad. I've had that confirmed by 3 people now. Saka is with the squad. But being with the squad is obviously very different to starting. So that's what we're waiting for info on. Bench boost 32 or 33, Ross. Thanks, pal. I think 32 is probably marginally better. But I'm going for 33 because I can't afford a better goalkeeper than Areola. FYI, Leaked Lineups has posted on Instagram that they have upcoming news. Oh, okay. Okay. That's interesting. Okay, so we might get some news then around Saka. Let's see. Stay on this stream for the next 15 minutes, basically. And if I get anything on Saka, I've DM'd a couple of people as well. If I get anything on Saka in the next 15 minutes, I'll let you know. I obviously want that info as well. Liz says, tuning in late. Need a transfer for Kleiber. Rest of the team is Gabriel, Gvardiol, Salah. Okay, I've got your team. Yeah, very nice. Only 6.4 million for Kleiber. I'd go Savinho. Savinho or Rodgers? Savinho or Rodgers? Yeah, hopefully that helps, Liz. Why is Saka over Palmer? Again, I don't have any money. They're not the same price. They're not the same price. I've got 0 in the bank with this draft. Dan says, back again. Kirkes, Livramento, or House and Trippier? Probably House and Trippier. Sell who from Palmer or Mbermo for Ismail Assar or roll? I wouldn't sell either of them. I'd roll. If you're going to sell one, though, I'd sell Mbermo before Palmer. Is Oscar Bob a cheap option to consider soon? Soon, yes, but we need to see him get minutes first. But yeah, I agree that Oscar Bob, if you've not got 3 City, could become an option. Liam has been a member for 37 months. Thank you, Liam. Hayden says Saka, Eze, Burn and Savinho, or Palmer, Sarr, Livramento and Clivert. Oh, that's so close. I'd probably go for the Saka combo there. Thor Peterson says, the usual Family Feud update. I used the wildcard and doubled up on my wife's point 72 against 36. However, I'm stuck with 4 flags and she has a wildcard to perfectly set her up for 32. Best of luck to your wife. Hopefully she can claw back those 36 points that she lost. This is the thing. You don't know until the end of the season. Everyone's on different paths and different trajectories, Thor. But yeah, big love to the pair of you and thank you for always being in the streams. Peter says, on wildcard, sticking with Clivert, moving to Gordon/Murphy in 31 with Howe assistant manager. Yep, that sounds like a good plan. I don't love booking in transfers, but I get it. Best Foden alternatives other than Savinho. I think if you've not got Newcastle and Palace midfielders, go there. Otherwise, I think Aston Villa. Best Savinho and Martinez or Bruno Fernandes and Areola. I'd say Savinho and Martinez. Timber over Gabriel. I think with Ben White back, Timber's a real risk. Martinez and Eze versus Areola and Sarr. Martinez and Eze. But it's a lot more expensive, right? Martinez and Eze, though, but it's the more expensive combo. Konsa or Nico Williams haven't decided free transfer 32 or 33. Do you mean bench boost? If you want to leave your options open, go Konsa. If you want to commit to a bench boost 32 Akshan, I would go Nico Williams. Savinho and Palmer or Bowen and Saka? I'd go Savinho and Palmer. I prefer them for the next 3 weeks. FPL Mikel says Raya, Pickford, Gabriel, Kirkes, Gvardiol, Vandenberg, Mikalenko, Cliver, Dango, Salah, Alanga, Sarr, Haaland, Isak, Wood. 1 free transfer, what to do? Defense is great. No need to go there. Midfield looks okay. I would do Wood to Marmouche. I don't think you need a wildcard desperately there. I'd do Wood to Marmouche. Is Saka starting? We don't know yet, but I think we might find out in the next 5 or 10 minutes. I don't really know what I do here if Saka doesn't start. I don't know if I go back to Palmer and Savinho or something like that, or if I just bench Saka. Or do I go for like Bruno Fernandes for the next 3 weeks or something like that? I don't know. We'll find out. I'll get back to answering your questions and then we'll find out. Sam North says Savinho or Villa mid or downgrade Martinez for Bowen. I'd probably just go Savinho personally. What do you think about Bowen? I think Bowen's great, but he just doesn't have a good fixture in 32. But in 33, Southampton, I like him. Start Kluivert or Rodgers or swap Semenyo for Kluivert. I'd probably start Rodgers and just leave it there. Palmer and Sarr or Saka and Eze? Just about Saka and Eze. Is Wildcard 31 better than 30? If your team's fine for this week, then yeah, you get extra information. Ross says active wildcard 4.4 million for bench boost 33 defender, as I've got Areola. Currently got Nico versus Spurs. I'd say Mazraoui. Mazraoui probably, just about. Start in Burmo or Dango? I'd still start in Burmo. Shazam has said there's a huge amount of price changes tonight. That does sound about right. Yeah, apparently there are a huge amount of price changes. So if you're on wildcard 31, I would personally activate the wildcard tonight and make the moves. Someone's just said Saka starts as per AFTV. Can anyone confirm that? Can anyone confirm that? Is that true? Saka starts AFTV? We've got 12 minutes, or just over 11 minutes actually now. We'll keep an eye on it. Again, just to say I'm a little bit behind on the super chats. I'm trying to rush through them. If I don't get to answering it, I sincerely apologise. I'm trying my best. Starting Burma, Dango did that one. Savinho versus Doku. I would say Savinho. I think he's just a better asset, and I don't think that Doku is more nailed. Start one of Kirkes, Murphy, or Munoz. Start one of them, Munoz. I probably, if you're in the wild card, I personally wouldn't keep Kluivert. I just don't think there's a need to. Like, the best fixture is this week, and this is the week that he's a doubt. Darius says, Ross, before you said you prefer Semenyo over Savinho, then just now you said you would go for Savinho. Which one? I don't think I meant to say that. I would go Savinho. If I said that, I didn't mean it, Darius. But yeah, I prefer Savinho. Start Wood or Son? Son. -4 or 8 to go Marmouche and Saka. Maybe just Wood to Marmouche, actually. Wood to Marmouche. Mihir says, on wildcard, 1 Raya, Martinez, Gabriel, Kluivert, or 2 Sells, Areola, Timber, Foden. I'd go for the Raya, Gabriel combo, number 1. Unless you desperately want Foden, in which case I understand it, then go for 2. So, yeah, go for 2. Rest of the team is the same as yours. This allows me Foden with 0.2 in the bank. If 1, then who for Kluivert? Savinho. So I would go Raya, Martinez, Gabriel, Savinho. I'd personally prefer that option, but it's easy for me to sit here and say that when I've gone for a combo with Foden. Oh, my chat keeps freezing. Look at Team News FPL Twitter. Yeah, but that account's not accurate on Twitter. Is that the one I've blocked? Oh, no, maybe that one is slightly more. I don't know if this guy is legit or not. Someone's just posted a gif of Saka, but I mean, I don't know if they've got reliable past. I don't know if that actually means anything. Like, I haven't had anything reliable on Saka yet. As soon as we get something reliable on Saka, then I'll share it with you. But as of now, I wouldn't call that reliable news. Trina says, hey, Raptor, got Gabriel Kirkes. Gabriel. Okay, 2 Gabriels. Is that meant to be Raya? Gabriel Henderson. Wanyeri, Salah, Dango, Palmer, and Burmo Marmouche, Isak. Got Wissa, Milenkovic, and Robinson bench. Should I change anything? I'm not sure, because you've got 2 Gabriels there, who one of them is. Wanyeri would be a slight concern for me, unless we get news soon that he starts. I would be tempted to start Wissa over Wanyeri, but that would be the only change that I'd be tempted to make. Otherwise, you could look good. Thomas says, Welbeck to Marmouche -4. Don't have a free hit for 34. If not, then I'll play Enzo. I'd be tempted to make that move, yeah. I'd be tempted to make the move. That's a loud engine outside. Jesus. Nearing 10k views. We're massive. We are massive. We also just lagged out there. But if you are enjoying this stream and you're one of the near on 10,000 people that aren't subscribed, please do subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe. Yeah, I've not seen anything reliable on Saka. I'm keeping my eye on it, though. I am keeping my eye on it. All we know so far is that Saka is with the squad. That's all we know so far. There we go. There's the picture of Saka with the squad. Saka's in there. So Saka is with the squad. He's played a behind closed doors friendly, and he's taken part in 6 full training sessions. That's all we know. That's all we've got on Saka right now. Oh, Gianni's gone for it. Now, Gianni isn't really one for early team news, but he's just said a hearing from reliable source that Saka starts tonight. Are we really trusting Gianni as a reliable source? There's no discredit to Gianni, but I've never had Gianni down as an early team leaks kind of guy. It's way too early. It's April Fools. I don't think it's April. April Fools has to be before midday, no? This is the issue when we have a bloody deadline on April 1st. Everyone's like, it's April Fools. Surely he's not doing April Fools. He said that 5 hours ago. Oh, did he? It's a bit of a weird April Fools if that's... Oh, yeah, it was 4 hours ago. Is that April Fools? It's a bit of a dead April Fools, isn't it? April Fools is just a dead day. Like, I just don't get the fun of it. Maybe I'm just old. Maybe I'm just old. Why no Palmer? Is he sure? Guys, I look at the prices of Palmer and Saka. The number one question I've got here is why not Palmer? Palmer is more expensive than Saka. This has 0 in the bank, this team here. 0 in the bank. You've got just over 5 minutes till the deadline. Is Kluivert playing? No idea. All we know is that he is a doubt due to fatigue. Is Saka playing? Don't know. Don't know. I think I'm going to take a risk, though, because I like this draft, but I don't know. Saka's with the squad. That's all we know. So he might just get minutes off the bench. But you never know. If he gets minutes off the bench, could he do damage in those minutes? Absolutely. Okay, apparently that was April Fools. It's a really, really bad April Fools. Don't know why I would do that. Maybe I'll block him. We've got no definitive news on Kluivert or Saka, guys. I'm sorry. No definitive news there. Why not sell Foden for Savinho and get Palmer back, Ross? Because I really want Foden. I feel like I've committed in my mind going Foden. What's the confusion with Saka? Arteta always plays him. He does, but he's not always been out for months with an injury. You know, it was a hamstring injury as well. João Pedro over Mateta? No, I prefer Mateta. I mean, if you really need to find funds, then fair. Would you go Saka or Palmer if you could afford it? I'd go Palmer if I could afford it. If I could afford Palmer, I'd have Palmer. He's just a safer option, you know? You've got just under 3 minutes until the deadline. Just under 3 minutes. Get your teams locked in. I'm sure the site will start to lag as well very soon. We've got no news I know of as of yet about Saka. We've got a little bit of something. Charles Watts, who's an Arsenal journalist, said, Sun's out, Saka's back, lovely stuff. But it could just be Saka's back in the squad. That doesn't mean he starts, but... Why is Palmer safer? Is he not also injured? Yeah, but Palmer's been seen in training all week. There we go. Palmer's been in training all week, and it was a much shorter injury than Saka's. So I would say Saka is a much... Saka doesn't start according to Flash Score. Flash Score do predicted lineups, you know. It's not the actual lineups. If you had 4.6 to spend on a keeper to pair with Raya, who would you pick? Henderson. If not Henderson, then probably Verbruggen. If it's bench boost 32, Verbruggen. And Igbar says, hi Ross, activated my wildcard and the team is Raya, Areola, Gabriel, Gvardiol, Munoz, Kirkes Burn, Saka, Salah, Eze, Savinho, Murphy, Isak, Mateta, Marmouche. Perfect. Perfect. You don't need to make any changes in the last minute and a half. The site is lagging. The app is lagging. We are very close to the deadline now. And my computer's lagging. Everything's lagging. Everything is lagging. I'm going to leave it as is. I think it's too late to start making changes. And we just hope that Saka starts. Get your teams locked in. Just over 30 seconds until the deadline. Rodgers or Savinho? I would go Savinho and take the risk. Apparently the site is down. If the site is down, use the app. I am lagging. The app is lagging. The site is lagging. Often if the site is lagging, though, the app is a little bit better. So maybe try that. God, my computer's chosen a terrible time to die. Oh, my God. Leaked lineup says Saka's on the bench. Really? Really? Should I try and make the change? I don't know if I'm going to get this in time. Oh, it's done. I tried. Okay, I've got to bench Saka then. Oh, well. Leaked lineups is such a... Oh, I was going to swear. He does that on purpose. He's done that a minute before the deadline. Oh, well. Oh, well. Saka's benched, apparently, but he's done it 10 seconds before the deadline on purpose. We move. We move. It's okay. We just have to hope he does a little bit of something off the bench. Whoa. Computer's dying. It was too late. There are very few people that I dislike online. And you can send this back to him. He's one of those people that just is terribly arrogant and just loves the power. He's done it a few times before. He owes the FPL community nothing, by the way, this guy. But he's just a bit of a mug. He's just a bit of a mug, this leaked lineups guy. He just loves the power. Probably April Fools. If it is April Fools, though, aren't we supposed to do it before midday? Or is that not a thing? I just don't get it. If it's April Fools, it has to be before midday. Rosh, you seem salty. He actually posted at 18:13. Yeah, but he's had the news for like an hour, and he knows when the FPL deadline is. He's done it a few times before. Anyway, doesn't matter. He was probably going to blank anyway. But yes, we're all good. We'll stay until the lineups, and we'll see what happens. Yeah, we'll stay for the next half an hour. So if you do want to stick around with me for the next half an hour, we'll see. Oh, I need to tweet my team. Look at how salty you are over a leak. I am salty because the thing is, it's like either post it or don't post it. Don't post it a minute before the deadline because you know when the deadline is. Oh well. You win some, you lose some. You know? Right. Team. Ross is seething. Absolute head loss. My head's on Mars. Right, Gameweek 30 wildcard. God, the lag on this computer. It chose the worst time just as the deadline was about to hit to break. Just decide, do you know what? I don't want to work. Yeah, for everyone saying that Murphy doesn't start. Sorry, Murphy's fine. Saka will come off the bench though, right? If he's in the squad. So I don't think having Murphy on the bench helps me massively because I think Saka he'll play, right? Sorry, I'm just getting my team tweeted. Let me know how your final wildcards went, by the way, guys. Was expecting a desk smash. Should I like throw my desk, beat up my green screen? Right, done. We shall see. At least we'll find out in the next 30 minutes. It would have been more upsetting if we had to wait until like Thursday to find out. We're going to find out pretty immediately, right? Sounds like he is on the bench, but that's okay. Profile. What's the name of the dude who posted late on Twitter? I think it's Team News and Ticks on Twitter, but he posted on his Instagram. The thing is, I don't even have the Instagram app on my phone anymore. I deleted it, so I would have had to go online to find it. He's also private half the time, so people can't access his Instagram. I think it's just different humor in it as well with the April Fool's stuff. Like, people find it quite fun to do pranks, but I just don't like pranks. Got to do Dad's Taxi now. Thanks for the streaming info this week. Big love, Shazam. I appreciate you as always, my friend. Why did you delete Insta? I just don't want it on my phone. I just spend way too much time on Instagram otherwise. Honestly, I'm just ignoring the chat. There's people saying people start benched. I just don't find it very funny or useful. And anyway, we'll find the lineups out in like 20 minutes. You know? I think I'm just an old man. I think I'm just an old man that just doesn't find pranks very funny. But that's more of a me thing. I think that's more of a me issue. What I don't find funny is my back is my computer deciding it doesn't want to work. Isn't team news in 10 minutes? No, it's at 6:45 we'll get team news. No. Oh, yeah, it is. Is it? Is it in 10 minutes? I'm so confused. Yeah, it is in 10 minutes, isn't it, actually? Yeah, sorry. Is it? No. No. Yeah? Don't know. 6:30. There we go. It's been so long. Or hopefully Gabriel and Raya keep a clean sheet at least. Yeah, 10 minutes. Okay. 10 minutes, we get those team news. We've got Arsenal Fulham tonight, Wolves West Ham and Forest United. Ross benched. Yeah, maybe I should be benched. The egg is rusty. Indeed. Hey Ross, happy belated birthday. Did you do anything nice? I went home to spend time with my family, which was really nice with FPL Pickle. Yeah, it was enjoyable. Really nice. It was just like a nice little break and reset. Hopefully a Man United win. I can't see it, sadly. I don't feel it in my bones, you know? Why so sad? Sad about what? About Saka being benched? The thing is, like, just give me an extra milli. I'd have Saka in Palmer instead of Saka. Give me an extra little bit. I'll have Martinez instead of Areola. You eventually have to make sacrifices. I do think, by the way, if Saka is on the bench, he could still do something off the bench. You know, it's not the end of the world, but it probably shows that starting with Saka was probably a mistake. Cool, there is some loud stuff outside. Speaking of Man United, you rock that new hoodie. Thank you very much, Pickle. It was a lovely birthday present. This was my other birthday present as well. It's a nice big Chili's bottle. Are you having an Indian tonight? I'm not. I'd actually love one, though. Maybe I should. Maybe I should treat myself to an Indian. Do you know what? Maybe I will. I don't take much convincing. How is your mini league going with Chunks and Stormzy? Chunks is in second quite comfortably. I'm in first by like 160 points or something. So I think first is pretty much locked up and probably second is as well. Is Marmouche on pens? Yes. Not definitely, but very likely. Yeah, exactly. Peshwari Naan. By the way, if you're one of the 4,500 people here that haven't subscribed, please do consider doing so. I'd appreciate it. I'm actually really hungry as well, so I might even have to end straight after we get the lineups. It's disgusting, I know. I know. It's been 2 weeks off, and I come back and I'm just hungry. But you guys know what I'm like. You guys know what I'm like. Arsenal news. We've not got anything official, but quite a few accounts are reporting that Saka's benched. So I would expect it to be like Wanyeri, Marino, and Martinelli or something again. Are you in your 40s? No, I just turned 28. Thoughts on F1 this weekend? Red Bull changes. I'm interested to see how Yuki does, but it just seems like an absolute mess there at the moment, doesn't it? I just hope that it doesn't ruin Yuki's career, you know, that he doesn't fail to get a seat next year as a result. Saka could easily come off the bench and get a goal or assist, also saves you a transfer. Exactly, that's why I'm not too bothered. It is what it is. I wasn't necessarily expecting Saka to haul against Brentford anyway. Yeah, I know. I think I'm almost certain Saka's bench now. It's been reported by like 5 or 6 Arsenal accounts. So we can go off the basis that he is. Good to see him on the bench at least from like a footballing perspective. I reckon he'll get at least 30 minutes, by the way, which is the good thing. I don't think he'll get like 10, 15, 10. Fulham. What? What did I say? I meant Fulham. Don't know what I said instead because my computer keeps freezing. Oh my God. My computer's relax. Oh. I'd love to know what the chat's saying, but my computer's broken. You said Brentford. Oh. I meant Fulham. I meant Fulham. I wonder if Fulham rotate. Probably not much, to be honest. They don't really have the ability to rotate too much. Pickle, do you always correct him? Pickle wouldn't be able to help herself. She does love to correct me. I think Saka would come on with about 65. I think about 60, 65, yeah. Our eye portrait just fell off and hit me in the back. Oh, no. Sorry, Pickle. Got struck by a canvas. Is there an afterlife, Ross? What deep question. I'd love to know. I'd love to know. Ross, you sound sad. Don't worry, you'll be hitting tech. I'm honestly really tired and hungry as well as being sad about Saka being benched. But like I say, against Fulham, it's not a great fixture anyway. The point was to save a transfer, but obviously I would have liked him to start tonight. That would have been preferable. All right, let me get Twitter ready because we can look at the official lineups. You can see how much my computer's struggling, how long it's taken to everything. So anything interesting? The frustration of just having a computer that doesn't function. Can't wait till next season, you know? I'm starting to wonder if this news was widely spread amongst people. Because I don't see anyone with Saka in their team. Amongst, you know, certain people. Clearly I missed the memo. Oh, Harry's got him. At least I'm in it. Do you know what? If Harry's got Saka starting, I reckon Saka probably scores 5 goals off the bench, you know? Right, we've got less than a minute. I hate my computer so much. The reason I've not invested in a new one is because I'm moving in a couple of months and I'd rather just wait until I've got my setup in place with better internet. I can spend all of the money on the setup rather than trying to put my new setup in here, then move it in a couple of months. So I'm waiting, but it's very frustrating. Ross, you missed the cartel invite. Apparently I did, yeah. Apparently I did. Please just function, internet. Please function. What other teams what are playing tonight? Wolves, West Ham. Forest United. Are Forest United at 8, though? Right, it's 6:30. Well, Saka's benched, we know that anyway, because so many people have reported it, but we just want to make sure the rest of the players are in there, I guess. Dear Lord. Okay, yeah. Saka's on the bench. Wanyeri, Martinelli, Marino, Erdegaard, Party Rice, Lewis Skelly, Gabriel, Saliba, Timber, Raya. So all of the other players that you'd probably want to start, other than Trossard, for some people that maybe still have him. Let's go Fulham. Fulham. For Fulham, Raul Jimenez back in the team. Anthony Robinson starts. Castagna starts. Looks like a back five again. Yeah, looks like they're back to a back five. Yeah, so Castagna and Robinson as wing backs, if you've got them. That looks good. We've got West Ham. West Ham, Areola's in net. That's good to see at least. Bowen, obviously captain in the side. Wan-Bissaka in the team. Don't think anything too crazy in there. And then Wolves. Okay, with Wolves, Strand Larson, Bellegarde, Manetzi, Ait Nuri, Semedo, Agbadou, Sarr, all of the key players start. I think Man United are at 8, aren't they? Or did I make that up? Yeah, I think we play at 8 tonight, so we won't get them. Okay, so basically just Saka benched is the only real... Did you just see my computer trying to switch? No Bassi. Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, not that many people probably have Bassi, but... I wish you could see on my end. Everything is just taking like 30 seconds load. I think, guys, I'm going to have to leave it there because my computer's like just dying. I'm glad it lasted quite well for most of the stream. And sorry for anyone that followed me on the Saka pick. I did say that I would probably go for Palmer instead, but it was always the risk. But like I say, could do something off the bench. And the idea is that you have Saka in place for future weeks. So the real game that you want Saka for is in the 33, and we've got him in place ahead of that. So save the transfer, but sadly it's not worked out tonight. But you never know off the bench. And hopefully the rest of the team can deliver. Thank you for being here as always. It was an absolutely crazy stream. Good to be back. And yeah, I will see you on Saturday for the next stream. And also there'll be videos throughout the week as well. But thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you soon. See you later, guys.